Hello you beautiful magical creatures, NecromanticWater here, and welcome to the all-bio video of Pokemon XG Next Generation. Everything is timestamped and organized, both by the location of the Mon, but also the order they appear in the description. There are some gaps, however, but that is entirely due to certain Mons that are, while they are technically available sooner via the Pokespots if you wish to train them up, but there are shadow variants of either some Mons or their final evos later in the game, and I thought it would be better to put those bios for those Mons when the shadow Pokemon became available. An example of this is Bagon, what is one of the first shadow Pokemon you can catch, but Salamence is one of the last ones of the story. So Bagon and Shogun are at the beginning, but Salamence is at the end. That's enough of all the intro stuff, let the bios begin. Eevee, the second mascot of the series. Eevee has gotten a pretty sizable Omni buff to all of its stats. It starts with Headbutt, Bite, Hyper Voice, and Protect. Eevee is a great all-rounder with an amazing ability, Adaptability, allowing its Hyper Voice or Headbutt to hit even harder. Eevee gets access to several support moves as well, like Wish, Encore, and both screens, and with its ability to evolve into 5 different Mons, Eevee is a fantastic starter. Espeon is unchanged from vanilla, and frankly, it didn't even need a change. Espeon is a beast. For moves, it gets both screens, Psychic, Psy-Shock, Energy Ball, Thunder Wave, Shadow Ball, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam. Magic Bounce is an extremely useful ability, especially if the AI generally being harder and smarter and will use all sorts of strategies, like involving lowering stats and stuff. If you want a strong Psychic type, choose Espeon. Flareon, funny enough, is our first Pokemon that actually saw a nerf instead of a buff, as it lost some of its speed. Unlike Vanilla, Flareon in XG is actually quite good and can make use of its high physical attack with moves like Flame Wheel, Fire Fang, Swords Dance, Play Rough, Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Sucker Punch, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, Stone Edge, and even patch up that speed of Flame Charge. Flareon is quite the physical threat. Jolteon, while unchanged in the stats, it did get Lightning Rod, which is pretty huge on its own. And unlike the Grand Colosseum hack, which is very similar to the XG, but for Colosseum, Lightning Rod actually works the Gen 7 way it's supposed to, allowing Jolteon to redirect lightning moves and get a boosted special attack. For moves, it gets Nuzzle, T-Wave, Volt Switch, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Knock Off, Energy Ball. Jolteon is an extremely fast Mon that's probably going to go first in basically every battle, and is a perfect choice for an electric-type team member. Umbreon, stat-wise, is unchanged, but it got probably one of the best abilities you would want for a tanky Mon, and that is Filter, making this already difficult to kill wall damn near unkillable. Umbreon gets plenty of support moves like Curse, Baton Pass, Taunt, Moonlight, Wish, Wide Guard, Encore, Toxic, both screens, Thunder Wave, Trick Room. As for some offense, it gets Snarl, Knock Off, Poison Jab, Foul Play, Sledge Bomb, Iron Head, Sucker Punch. Umbreon is a tank support Mon that might as well be unkillable, and if you're looking for a tank, you can't go wrong with Umbreon. Vaporeon is both the other tanky evolution, but also the other one that got nerfed, as it has lost some of its attack. Vaporeon gets access to Wish, Heal Bell, Scald, Surf, Wide Guard, Encore, Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, and arguably one of the best moves of this specific game, Icy Wind. Vaporeon may not have as much of a wide move pool as the other tanky Mon, Umbreon, but what Vaporeon brings to the table is both speed control and redirecting water moves with its Storm Drain ability. Vaporeon is basically the face of bulky water types, and will make a perfect team member. Zigzagoon. This little guy has gotten a pretty nice Omni boost. Zigzagoon starts with Tackle, Helping Hand, Growl, and Protect. Zigzagoon is an all-rounder with a quite wide move pool. It can learn moves such as Icy Wind, Snarl, U-Turn, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Sucker Punch, Knock Off, Belly Drum, Extreme Speed, and many, many, many more. Zigzagoon will be a quite useful Mon to your team, early or even mid-game. However, with its pickup, it can remain useful throughout the entire game. Linoon got an Omni boost, although it's not as drastic as the one Zigzagoon got. Pretty much every single thing I said about Zigzagoon also applies to Linoon as well, but with an even wider move pool, with some highlights like Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Superpower, Gunk Shot, Focus Blast, X-Scissor, and many, many more. And just like Zigzagoon, it has pickup to get you a whole bunch of extra items, and it'll be a very useful mon throughout the whole game. Tailo is our first Shadow Pokemon. While it didn't get any stat boosts, it did get a pretty huge buff in getting the ability Gale Wings. While despite this hack generally being Gen 7 mechanics, I am actually not entirely sure if Gale Wings works with the Gen 6 way or with the Gen 7 way of requiring full HP. Either way, it is a great ability. Tailo starts with Shadow Stealth, which upon purifying turns into Extreme Speed. As the gauge goes down, it learns Peck, Growl, and Double Team. Tailo learns Acrobatics, Drill Peck, Hurricane, Boom Burst, U-Turn, Heat Wave, Tailwind, and with Move Reminder, Roost. While Guts is a great ability if you can get a status, personally I think Gale Wings is going to help you way more throughout the adventure. Swellow got a buff to both of its attacks, but besides that, everything I said about Tailo applies here. And while I don't know when or if we can get a Toxic Orb or a Flame Orb to make use of its guts, you're probably still better off trying to get Gale Wings for the priority Hurricanes or Tailwinds. Swellow is a fantastic choice if you want to use it for your team. Marill has got a buff to its attack stat. It starts with the move Shadow Slam, which becomes Play Rough upon purification. As the gauge goes down, it gets Aqua Jet, Sing, and Charm. Marill gets access to Belly Drum, Aqua Tail, Waterfall, Double Edge, Ice Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, and Knockoff. While Sab Sipper is a pretty useful ability, and it's nice to get rid of that grass weakness, Huge Power is just too good with stuff like Belly Drum and Play Rough. Marill can just Unga Bunga its way through any enemy. Azumarill got a buff to its attack stat and its HP, and it can now learn Power Up Punch, Superpower, Rock Slide, Knock Off, and Stone Edge, along with all of the great moves that Marill can learn. And just like Marill, while Sab-Sipper is great, Huge Power is the way to go, especially if it's buffed attack stat. Poochyena has got a pretty sizable buff to its HP, attack, and defense. Poochyena starts with Shadow Fang, which turns into Psychic Fangs upon purification. As the gauge goes down, it gets Bite, Baby Doll Eyes, and Super Fang, and it has one of the best abilities in the game, Intimidate. For moves, Poochyena gets Poison Fang, Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Play Rough, Wild Charge, Foul Play, U-Turn, Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Rock Slide, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, and with a few support moves like both Screens, T-Wave, Taunt, Snarl, Icy Wind, Wind Guard, and Encore. Poochyena has a surprisingly wide move pool and one of the best abilities in the entire game. Mightyena has gotten a buff to everything but speed, and it has lost some of its defense. Mightyena has two fantastic abilities that you can't go wrong with either. For moves, it gets Fire and Ice Fang, Hone Claws, Gunk Shot, Stone Edge, and Knock Off. It also gets a bunch of special moves, although with its much higher physical attack and having Moxie, you're way better off not adding any special moves. Mightyena has some great potential to either steamroll or debilitate. Either are fantastic choices. Electrike has got a pretty big buff to both of its attacks, as well as its speed. Electrike starts with Shadow Pulse, and upon purifying, it becomes Heat Wave. As the gauge goes down, it gets Charge Beam, Nuzzle, Hidden Power. Thankfully, XG tells you which hidden power type you get. Electrike gets Fire and Ice Fang, U-Turn, Volt Switch, Nasty Plot, Snarl, or Taunt. For abilities, it has Intimidate or Lightning Rod. Both are fantastic abilities. Electrike is a fast electric type, perfect for those who didn't pick Jolteon and are looking to wall electric types who, if you don't plan on using a ground type. Manectric has lost some of its HP, but it gained a lot in both physical attack and its speed, and is a very minor buff to its special attack. For some new moves, it gets access to Icy Wind, Flamethrower, Flame Charge, Focus Blast, Wild Charge, Iron Head and Zen Headbutt, and Knock Off. Both of its abilities are still very fantastic and extremely helpful. And just as I said in the Electric bio, if you didn't choose Jolteon, Manectric is a perfect substitute. Bagon has got a big buff to its HP and its attack. Bagon is our first example of a Shadowmon having multiple Shadow moves, such as Shadow Fang and Shadow Tease, which become Fire Fang and Scary Face respectively. It gets Dragon Breath and Growl. For moves, it can learn Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, and Knock Off. It has Intimidate and Sheer Force, which becomes something special upon fully evolved. But due to Bagon being a pseudo-legend, it's going to be extremely tough to train, and there's a high likelihood the AI is going to focus it down till it's gone. But if you can push through, Bagon will become quite the powerhouse. Shogun has gotten a pretty huge buff to everything but speed. For moves, it can now use Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Dragon Pulse, Rock Slide, Bulldoze. Its Intimidate is gone and has become bulletproof. Due to the extra bulk, the training experience should be significantly smoother than it was for Bagon. However, the AI is probably still going to do whatever it can to slay Shogun. But just like Bagon, if you can push through and keep on training, Shogun is going to become a true monster. Phanpy is unchanged stat-wise, but it has gained Sturdy. Phanpy starts with Shadow Slam, which becomes Play Rough. As the gauge goes down, it gets Bulldoze, Mud Slap, and Ice Shard. For moves, Phanpy gets Wide Guard, Earthquake, U-Turn, Iron Head, Rock Slide, Knock Off, Stone Edge, and for some reason, it gets Poison Jab, Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Wave. I did not know this little elephant had some poison in him, but good to know, I guess. But who doesn't love this little guy? He's just too adorable. He may not have gotten any buffs, but he's got the spirit, and he's perfect. Donphan has got a buff to its HP. For moves, it gets Rock Polish, Rock Blast, High Horsepower, Fire Fang, and Mega Horn, Zen Headbutt, and weirdly even more poison in the form of Gunk Shot. Donphan is a great physical attacker with equal bulk. Just slap this bad boy on a sand team and you're going to start rolling through the battles. Trico has got a nice buff to its special attack as well as its speed. Trico starts with Shadow Whip, which becomes False Swipe. As the gauge goes down, it gets Giga Drain, Substitute, and Hidden Power. For moves, Trico gets Leech Seed, Dragon Dance, Energy Ball, Leaf Storm, Stun Spore, Leaf Blade, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. While Inner Focus has a nice ability to prevent flinches, Lightning Rod is just so much better, not only for the redirect, but for that special boost. Trico is a starter. You can never go wrong with adding one to your team. Grovyle has got a buff to its special attack and its speed. Grovyle gets all the same moves that Trico can get, and now it can also learn Power Up Punch and Thunder Wave. Lightning Rod is still the better choice of abilities. Grovyle is a very fast special attacker who's only going to get faster when it evolves. Sceptile lost some of its defense, but it gained a boost to both of its attacks, as well as gained the Dragon type. Sceptile is a fast mix attacker, and with some new moves, it gets Synthesis, Dragon Tail, Dragon Breath, Dual Chomp, Wood Hammer, Thunder Punch, Discharge, Earthquake, Rock Slide, X-Scissor. Sceptile has a wide move pool, a great ability, and is a perfect team member. Mudkip has got a nice buff to its HP. Mudkip starts with Shadow Slam, which becomes Aqua Jet. As the gauge goes down, it gets Water Pulse, Yawn, and Mud Shot. Mudkip gets Bulldoze, Earthquake, Aqua Tail, Earth Power, Waterfall, Rock Slide, Icy Wind, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge, and Knock Off. For abilities, you're better off getting Swift Swim, and slapping Mudkip on a rain team. Damp is borderline useless, and even Torrent would be better if it was available. But either way, you can't go wrong if adding Mudkip to your team. Marshtomp has got a buff to its HP and its special attack. For moves, it now gets Rock Tomb, Endeavor, Ice Punch, Whirlpool, Power Up Punch. Swift Swim is still the way to go for abilities, since Damp is still just useless. Marshtomp may look a little goofy and like there's not a thought behind those eyes, but I still love him. And you can't go wrong with water or ground coverage. They make just the perfect duo. Swampert has got a buff to its HP, attack, and speed. For moves, it gets Brick Break, Hammer Arm, Ice Hammer, Liquidation, Wide Guard, and Superpower, and Poison Jab. For rain teams, Swampert will thrive, and with its move pool, it basically has an answer to anything. However, if Swampert isn't on a rain team, it's probably not going to perform as well, and with how the AI is, there's a good chance that it's going to get focused down quickly. But aside from that, Swampert is a fantastic mon to add to the team, and was actually a contender to be on my team. Torchic lost some special attack, and it was moved to its physical. Torchic starts with Shadow Stealth, which becomes Low Sweep. As the gauge goes down, it gets Ember, Will-O-Wisp, Bulk Up. Torchic gets access to Blaze Kick, Aerial Ace, Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, Knockoff, Flamethrower, Heat Wave. And with moves like Bulk Up and Protect, thanks to its speed boost, Torchic can quickly start to snowball, and it's a great pick for a team. Combusken is unchanged stat-wise from Vanilla. Its moves, it gets Low Kick, Sky Uppercut, Mach Punch, Counter, Fire and Thunder Punch, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Superpower, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. Combusken might not have gotten a buff, but with it having Speed Boost plus its move pool, it doesn't need any buffs to hold its own, and Combusken is a great mon. Blaziken is unchanged from Vanilla. For moves, it gets Drill Peck, High Jump Kick, Earthquake, Focus Blast, and Stone Edge. Blaziken is an absolute menace, be it its fantastic ability, its great move pool, the fact it's a cool starter. As I said with Torchic, a combo of Bulk Up, Protect, Blaziken will very quickly steamroll, and it is an absolute beast of a team member.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Cavern!
Pikachu is unchanged from Vanilla, but it comes holding the Light Ball. Pikachu starts with Shadow Bolt, which becomes Helping Hand. As the gauge goes down, it gets Shockwave, Fake Out, and Nuzzle. For moves, Pikachu gets Volt Tackle, Charge Beam, Volt Switch, Disable, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Power Up Punch, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Sucker Punch. If possible, you get Lightning Rod as its ability. With the Light Ball, Pikachu becomes a glass cannon. Raichu lost some of its attack and defense, and got a small boost to special attack, special defense, and speed. Raichu still has the goodness of the Lightning Rod ability. Raichu gets the same moves as Pikachu. I will say, I'm not entirely 100% sure, nor am I good at math, but I think Raichu is going to hit just as hard, or maybe a little bit better, than the Light Ball Pikachu, thanks to that special boost. The difference is Raichu has a bit more bulk than Pikachu, as well as more speed, and has the benefit of using other items. But I suppose either way it doesn't really matter, because they're both fast electric types who are going to hit hard and have the Lightning Rod ability and can make some fun team members. Beedrill basically lost all of its defense, special attack, as well as losing some of its HP, and it got a bunch of speed. Beedrill starts with Shadow Rush, which becomes U-Turn, Shadow Guard, which becomes Swords Dance. As the gauge goes down, it gets Cross Poison and Quick Attack. For moves, Beedrill gets Drill Run, Bug Bite, Leech Life, Acrobatics, First Impression, Mega Horn, Tailwind, Foul Play, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, X Scissor, Poison Jab, Knock Off. Beedrill is all glass and all cannon, and it can be a fun mon to use. Meditite got a buff to its attack. Meditite starts with Shadow Slap, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Slam, which becomes Drain Punch. As the gauge goes down, it gets Psycho Cut and Headbutt. For moves, it gets Power Up Punch, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, Zen Headbutt, Force Palm, both a Jump Kick and High Jump Kick, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Size Shock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knock Off. Meditite has a wide move pool, and thanks to its pure power, it's going to hit pretty hard. Medicham got a buff to its HP, attack, special attack, and speed. It gets all the same moves as Meditite, and it can now learn U-Turn, Thunderbolt, Superpower, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Regardless of what moves you give Medicham, thanks to its ability Pure Power, it's going to be a quite strong Mon. If you're looking for a fighting or psychic type, you can't go wrong with Medicham. Shroomish is unchanged from vanilla. Shroomish starts with Shadow Whip, which becomes Rock Tomb, Shadow Snooze, which becomes Spore. As the gauge goes down, it gets Giga Drain, Leech Seed. For moves, it gets Bullet Seed, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Body Slam, Seed Bomb, Wood Hammer, and Facade. Wide Guard, Sludge Bomb, and Wave. Energy Ball. Try to get Poison Heal if possible, but if not, the Effect Spore will become something great when it evolves. This little grumpy little guy excels at spreading status and mostly grass and poison moves, but he makes a fine addition to the team. Breloom is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Force Palm, Mach Punch, Drain Punch, Sky Uppercut, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, and Knockoff. Effect Spore is now Technician, and both abilities are fantastic. Breloom can be rather potent with its Spore as well as its very high attack stat. If you're looking for something that can hit hard but also has some utility, Breloom makes a great choice. Magnemite got a buff to its special attack. Magnemite starts with Shadow Pulse, which becomes Water Pulse, Shadow Sky, which becomes Metal Sound. As the gauge goes down, it gets Iron Head and Shockwave. For moves, it gets Volt Switch, Charge Beam, Rain Dance, Lock On, Thunder, Zap Cannon, Agility, Iron Defense, Thunder Wave, Thunderbolt, Discharge. This is gonna sound stupid, but funny enough, despite the Magnemite line being in my top 50 Mons, until now, it never dawned on me that Magnemite's move pool is almost exclusively electric moves. But that realization aside, Magnemite is still a great Mon to add to the team. Magneton got a buff to its HP, attack, special attack, and its speed. It lost a bit of its special defense though. For moves, it can now use Tri-Attack, Power Gem, Hidden Power, and a Knockoff. Oh, and I guess Sunny Day if you want. With its typing and ability, as well as its added bulk, Magneton will be able to take some hits and retaliate for powerful electric move. Despite its rather limited move pool, Magneton is still a fantastic choice. Murkrow got an Omni boost, and probably the weirdest stat spread I have seen in a while. Murkrow starts with Shadow Spirit, which becomes Dark Pulse, Shadow Sky, which becomes Swagger, Shadow Fear, which becomes Mean Look, and Air Slash. For moves, it gets Acrobatics, Pursuit, Roost, Shadow Sneak, Swords Dance, Night Slash, Brave Bird, Wide Guard, Encore, Tailwind, Snarl, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens. Oh, good lord. Murkrow has a massive move pool, and with its two great abilities, slap an Eviolite on this bad boy, and he's going to be a tremendous team member. Mischievous lost HP, attack, and defense, and got a boost to its special attack, special defense, and speed. Mischievous starts with Shadow Scream, which becomes Pain Split, Shadow Fear, which becomes Hypnosis, Shadow Tease, which becomes Swagger, and Hex. Mischievous gets Baton Pass, Skill Swap, Draining Kiss, Nasty Plot, Charge Beam, Destiny Bond, Power Gem, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, both screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Mischievous has a wide move pool with both offensive capabilities and supporting moves, and Mischievous makes a great Mon to use. Clefairy got a buff to its HP, defense, special attack, and special defense. Clefairy is our first example of a Mon only having shadow moves. It has Shadow Spirit, Shadow Bully, Shadow Snooze, Shadow Terrain, which become Fairy Wind, Recover, Cosmic Power, and Trick Room respectively. For moves, it gets both screens, Encore, Sing, Charm, Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Heal Bell, Moonlight, Dazzling Gleam, Moon Blast, Wide Guard, Energy Ball, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Size Shock, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Clefairy is our first Mon with the XG exclusive ability, Pure Heart, which I believe halves the damage of all shadow moves, But that also might not be the only thing it does, because according to some people in the XG Discord, it may also weaken Ghost and Dark moves, but I am not entirely sure if that part is true or not. Clefairy is one hell of a support mon. Slap an Eviolite on this bad boy, and it's going to be damn near unkillable. Clefable got a very slight buff to its HP, defense, and special attack. For moves, it now gets access to Disable, Baton Pass, Skill Swap, the Elemental Punches, Power Up Punch, Flamethrower, as well as everything Clefairy can learn. Both abilities are quite useful, but I believe Pure Heart is better. Although I will say, due to the lack of info on Pure Heart, I have no idea if it only affects the mon with the ability or the whole team. But even if it's just weakening only the shadow moves for Clefable only, that it still allows Clefable to be borderline an unkillable tank. For those who are looking for a tank that's with an extremely wide move pool, Clefable is one of the best. Ludicolo has got a small boost to its attack. Ludicolo starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Water Pulse, Shadow Slap, which becomes Fake Out. As the gauge goes down, it gets Giga Drain and Leech Seed. Ludicolo gets Surf, Swagger, Energy Ball, Hydro Pump, Widegar, Encore, Thunder and Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Waterfall. Ludicolo drives in rain teams with either of its abilities and is a pretty solid member for the team. Skarmory has got a buff to its HP and its defense. For moves, it gets Drill Peck, Counter, Metal Sound, Swords Dance, Steel Wing, Brave Bird, Wide Guard, Taunt, Tailwind, Rain Dance, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, both Screens, and Stone Edge. While it also gets Spikes, entry hazards aren't as useful in double battles. Skarmory is a tanky mon that can be either support or dish out some pretty strong hits. Larvitar is unchanged stat-wise, but now has Sturdy. For moves, it gets Bite, Rock Tomb, Bulldoze, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Crunch, Superpower, Rock Blast, Taunt, Foul Play, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, and Rock Slide. Larvitar is on the weaker side, and even with Sturdy, the AI might just focus it down. Also, Larvitar is our first example of a mon that is both available with its Evo at the same time, because each Pokespot has the same exact chance of spawning, so if possible, just get its Evo instead. Pupitar is unchanged stat-wise, and now also has Sturdy. And it also gets the exact same moves as Larvitar, and can now learn Shadow Ball, Dragon Pulse, and Knockoff. Due to Pupitar being a pseudo-legend, it's going to be a pain to train, and to save some time, try to find Pupitar instead of Larvitar. Once it evolves, it's going to become an absolute beast and wreck everything. Ponyta got a big boost in its special attack and its speed. For moves, it gets Ember, Flame Wheel, Extreme Speed, Bounce, Double Edge, Jump Kick, Mega Horn, High Horsepower, Sunny Day, U-Turn, Will-O-Wisp, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Heat Wave, Solar Beam, and a Knockoff. Ponyta is quite the fast mon and can be a mixed attacker or even a sunsetter. If you want to be a gambler, get reckless and let those recoil moves hit even harder. Ponyta is a solid mon. Rapidash lost some of its special defense, but it gained buffs to HP, attack, special attack, and its speed. For moves, it now gets Morning Sun, Overheat, Fire Blast, Superpower, Earthquake, Poison Jab, and a Knockoff. Rapidash is an extremely fast mixed attacker and is going to make a great member to any team. Aerodactyl is unchanged stat-wise, but now gets Tough Claws. For moves, it gets Rock Tomb, Sandstorm, Hone Claws, Crunch, Ice and Fire Fang, Double Edge, Aqua Tail, Acrobatics, Head Smash, Outrage, Wide Guard, Encore, Snarl, Tailwind, Hurricane, Thunderwave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Poison Jab, and Knockoff. Aerodactyl has such a wide move pool, and with its stats, it's easily going to be a monster and just wreak havoc. Miltank got a big buff to its special attack. For moves, it gets Belly Drum, Headbutt, Giga Impact, Body Slam, Bulldoze, Yawn, Return, Swagger, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Power Up Punch, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Iron Heads, and Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Shadow Ball, Flame Charge, both screens, Poison Jab, Knockoff, Surf, and Stone Edge. Miltank has an extremely wide move pool, and while it doesn't get Milk Drink, it can at least come with leftovers, so if you don't want to grind Poke Coupons to get those, this is a good way to get it. Miltank is a very solid mon to add to the team. Cacnea is unchanged stat-wise, but now has Sand Rush instead of Sand Veil. For moves, it gets Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, Needle Arm, Synthesis, Leech Seed, Giga Drain, Seed Bomb, Spiky Shield, Night Slash, Dark Pulse, Wood Hammer, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Power Up Punch, Sucker Punch, and Knockoff. Cacnea is a mixed attacker with almost entirely grass and dark moves. Cacnea greatly benefits from being on a sand team and is a solid choice if you're looking for a mixed attacker. Sandshrew got a big boost to its defense as well as access to the Sand Force ability. For moves, it gets Metal Claw, Hone Claws, Splash, Rock Slide, Bulldoze, Drill Run, Earthquake, Wide Guard, Encore, Fire Punch, U-Turn, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, and Zen Headbutt, as well as Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. With its abilities, Sandshrew basically needs to be on a sand team and is a great physical attacker for the team. Sandslash lost special attack and speed, but gained attack and defense as well as special defense. It can now learn Night Slash, Spiky Shield, Leech Life, X-Scissor, Dragon Claw, and I guess Earth Power and Sludge Wave if you want to use that abysmal special attack. Like Sandshrew, Sandslash thrives on sand teams, and is both a great physical attacker and wall, and a solid choice. Trapinch is unchanged stat-wise, and now gets Sand Rush. For moves, it gets Bite, Bulldoze, Rock Tomb, Crunch, Sandstorm, Iron Head, Earthquake, and Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Trapinch might have a shallow move pool and a really silly ability in Sand Rush, but Trapinch will hit quite hard with its moves, and Sand Rush will become something special when it evolves. Trapinch is a fantastic mon. Vibrava is unchanged stat-wise, and now has Arena Trap and Sand Rush. For moves, it gets Mudshot, Roost, Dragon Breath, Fire Fang, Stomping Tantrum, Dragon Dance, Hurricane, Outrage, Tailwind, U-Turn, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power. Vibrava got a wider move pool than Trapinch did, and can make better use of that Sand Rush ability. Vibrava is an excellent choice for sand teams, or just in general. Yanma has got a huge boost to its special attack and its defense, and a small boost to its attack, as well as a single point into its special defense. For moves, Yanma gets Ancient Power, Hypnosis, Double Team, Roost, Silverwind, Air Slash, Signal Beam, Aura Sphere, Baton Pass, Encore, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Rain Dance, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, Shadow Ball, both screens, Knockoff, Poison Jab, and Zen Headbutt. Yanma is a great mon for either dishing out some powerful special attacks or playing a more supportive role. An Eviolite will greatly help Yanma. Yanma is a fantastic choice for a team, and was even a contender for mine. Gligar got a boost to its HP, attack, and defense, and special defense. For moves, it gets Bulldoze, Acrobatics, Roost, Cross Poison, Fire and Ice Fang, Leech Life, Earthquake, Wide Guard, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Oh, and I guess Hurricane if you want to use that very low special attack, as well as both screens. With Poison Heal and a Toxic Orb, as well as its extra bulk, Gligar is going to be really tough to be taken out, and will be able to hit hard right back. Gligar is a fantastic mon, and is another one I considered using for my team. Numel has lost all of its speed, as well as some of its attack, but gained a lot of HP, special attack, and gained the Sheer Force ability. For moves, it gets Will-O-Wisp, Ancient Power, Bulldoze, Sunny Day, Lava Plume, Earth Power, Eruption, Mudshot, Overheat, Explosion, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, and Heat Wave. Numel may almost certainly go last every turn, but when it hits, it's going to be quite deadly, and it works quite well on some teams, and is a solid choice for a team. Hitmontop got a big boost to its HP, For moves, it gets Brick Break, Low Sweep, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, Drain Punch, Fake Out, Close Combat, Circle Throw, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, U-Turn, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Sucker Punch, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Hitmontop has a wide move pool and 2 fantastic abilities. He also gets style points for actually spinning on the top, unlike the newer games. Hitmontop is an absolutely fantastic team member. Dugtrio has got a boost to its HP and lost its special attack, as well as gained the Sandforce ability. For moves, it gets Bulldoze, Hone Claws, Headbutt, Rock Tomb, Sandstorm, Slash, Wide Guard, Encore, U-Turn, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, and Knock Off, and Stone Edge. And I guess if you want to use that very low special attack, it gets Sludge Bomb and Wave, Earth Power, and Tri-Attack. Dugtrio is a very fast, strong physical attacker who's only going to get hit even harder under sand teams, or it can be a trapper in status, sir. Either way, Dugtrio is a fantastic mon. Graveler is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Rock Polish, Rock Throw, Sandstorm, Bulldoze, Rock Slide, Body Slam, Rock Blast, Earthquake, Explosion, Head Smash, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Power Up Punch, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, Stone Edge. That Rock Head ability is going to change into something special when it evolves with a Lodestone. Graveler is very hard to recommend. Due to its typing, it's basically weak to pretty much everything. But I'm sure if it can actually do something, it's going to be pretty decent. Cubone is unchanged stat-wise, but can now have Sturdy. For moves, it gets Rock Tomb, Headbutt, False Swipe, Bulldoze, Swords Dance, Bone Club, Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum, Double Edge, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Snarl, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Cubone has a very surprisingly wide move pool and can also come holding the thick club, so Cubone's going to hit quite hard with said move pool and is a solid choice. Viper has lost some of its speed but gained HP, attack, and special attack, and now has the competitive ability. For moves, it gets Fire and Ice Fang, Glare, Poison Fang, Coil, Screech, Dragon Tail, Gunk Shot, Encore, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Focus Blast, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Dark Pulse. Viper is a mixed attacker with a very wide move pool, although with it having competitive, special is probably the way to go. Viper is a fantastic mon. Electrode lost some of its speed, but gained buffs to both attacks. For moves, it gets Volt Switch, Nasty Plot, Shockwave, Charge Beam, Mirror Coat, Metal Sound, Explosion, Zap Cannon, Encore, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Thunder, and both screens. Electrode is the definition of fast electric types, and it also has 2 useful abilities and is a solid mon overall. Kangaskhan lost some of its speed, but gained HP and both attacks. For moves, it gets Brick Break, Feint Attack, Rest, Fake Out, Body Slam, Sucker Punch, Drain Punch, Helping Hand, Outrage, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Taunt, Fire Blast, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Discharge, Superpower, Earthquake, Blizzard, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Surf, Stone Edge, and Dark Pulse. Kangaskhan, like most normal types, has an extremely wide move pool, and it's going to hit pretty hard and take hits pretty well, and it's just a great mon to use overall. Kecleon has got a buff to everything but its defense. For moves, it gets Night Slash, Metal Claw, Hypnosis, Giga Drain, Feint Attack, Skill Swap, Psy Beam, Screech, Substitute, Slash, Ancient Power, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Trick Room, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Freeze Dry, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, X-Scissor, Thunder, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Like many normal types, Kecleon has an extremely wide move pool. While Kecleon is a mixed attacker, unless you skill swap its ability to something useful, it is quick to fall, but other than that, it's a rather decent mon. Nincada is unchanged stat-wise, and it now has the Hustle ability. For moves, it gets Fury Cutter, Mud Slap, Infestation, Helping Hand, False Swipe, Bug Bite, Metal Claw, X-Scissor, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, Sucker Punch, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. While Nincada is weak overall, its big thing is having a split Evo. Remember when to evolve it, to keep an empty slot in your team and an extra Pokeball to get both Evos. Ninjask got a boost to its attack, and can now have the Sniper ability. For moves, it gets Quick Attack, First Impression, Disable, Acrobatics, Aerial Ace, Swords Dance, Baton Pass, Substitute, Encore, Silver Wind, Leech Life, Tailwind, U-Turn, and if you really want to use its low special, it gets Hurricane, Dazzling Gleam, Sludge Bomb, and Wave. Ninjask is an extremely fast mon that's going to hit pretty hard too, or it could pass stat buffs to an ally. The main downside is Ninjask is super frail, but that aside, Ninjask is a fantastic mon. Shedinja got a big boost to its special attack and a smaller one to its speed. For moves, it gets Shadow Sneak, First Impression, Freaking Explosion of all things, Hex, Bug Bite, Bug Buzz, Shadow Ball, Swords Dance, Baton Pass, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Sucker Punch, Psyshock, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Shedinja has a really wide move pool, and thanks to its boosted special, it can be a mixed attacker, although, due to Shedinja's gimmick, it's either going to be a really good mon or a really bad mon. There is no in-between, but at the same time, it's just so damn fun to use. Togetic has lost some of both defenses, but gained a lot of HP, attack, special attack, and speed. For moves, it gets Nasty Plot, Charge Beam, Headbutt, Roost, Wish, Dazzling Gleam, Heal Bell, Air Slash, Tri-Attack, Aura Sphere, Brave Bird, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Thunder, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Togetic has an extremely wide move pool and a lot of fun toys to play around with that Serene Grace. Togetic is a fantastic mon to use. Chansey has got a boost to both its special attack and its special defense. For moves, it gets Slack Off, Helping Hand, Seismic Toss, Counter, Wish, Rest, Extra Century, and Charm, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Toxic, both screens, as well as it can basically learn most of pretty much any of the offensive moves in this game, but due to its low stats in both attacking stats, I didn't feel it was necessary to mention them. Even with Serene Grace, Chansey is mostly just going to be a support tank who is hard to take down, especially with an Eviolite. Chansey is the perfect choice if you're looking for a special wall. Roselia has got a nice boost to everything but its defenses, and it now has 2 strong abilities in Solar Power and Technician. For moves, it gets Hidden Power, Sludge, Mega Drain, Synthesis, Leech Seed, Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Pin Missile, Spiky Shield, Leaf Storm, Encore, Taunt, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Sucker Punch, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and both screens. Roselia has a rather limited move pool and doesn't really get much to make use of the Technician boost, but it can easily tear house on some teams. If you have Technician, slap an Eviolite on it, it's going to be helpful, and if you have Solar Power, slap a Life Orb on it, cost a bunch of HP, do some humongous damage. Either way, Rosalia is going to be a fantastic mon for teams. Gloom has lost attack, defense, and special defense, but has gained a bunch of HP, as well as the Regenerator and Effect Spore abilities. For moves, it gets Leech Seed, Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power, Synthesis, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Power Whip, Leaf Storm, Wide Guard, Encore, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and both screens. Gloom is mainly a tank who spreads status moves, and thanks to Regenerator and Synthesis, it has the longevity that some other tanks just don't have, and is a solid choice for the team. Vileplume has lost stats in everything but speed and gained a bunch of HP, as well as having the Regenerator ability. For moves, it now gets Spore, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt. Vileplume is just Gloom, but bigger, in both the literal and the metaphorical sense. A massive plus in Vileplume's favor is now access to Spore, however it can't get Power Whip and a Leaf Storm unless Gloom had it prior to evolving. But that aside, Vileplume is a statuser who is hard to take down, and is a great team member, especially with helping catching the Shadow Pokemon. Bellossom has gained some special attack and the Pure Heart ability. For moves, it gets Quiver Dance, Leaf Storm, Dazzling Gleam, Foul Play, U-Turn, and everything else Gleam can learn. Bellossom is more offensive oriented compared to Vileplume's defensiveness. Blossom also pairs well on Sun teams to make use of that Chlorophyll ability, and it may even be better as there's still quite a lot of questions with how exactly Pure Heart works, but with whatever ability you have, Blossom is a pretty solid mon to use. Persian has gotten a buff to everything but its special defense and speed, and can now have the Fur Coat ability. For moves, it gets Fake Out, Night Slash, Disable, Hone Claws, Quick Attack, Fire and Ice Fang, Hypnosis, Play Rough, Nasty Plot, Power Gem, Assist, Double Edge, Encore, Icy Wind, Snarl, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, X-Scissor, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and a Dark Pulse. Persian has an extremely wide move pool, and with two great abilities, Persian is a solid choice for the team. Execute has got a big buff to its special attack, as well as getting access to the Solar Power ability. For moves, it gets Hidden Power, Mega Drain, Hypnosis, Leech Seed, Confusion, Giga Drain, Psyshock, Sleep Powder, Solar Beam, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, both screens, and Psychic. Execute is very hard for me to recommend, as it has mess stats, a shallow move pool, basically requires a Sun team to do anything, and arguably has one of, if not the worst type combination in the whole game. But I guess if you're looking for something different or an extra challenge, use Execute. Bellsprout is unchanged stat-wise, but now has the Chlorophyll ability. For moves, it gets Sludge, Hidden Power, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Leech Seed, Cross Poison, Slash, Leaf Blade, Synthesis, Leaf Storm, Grass Taunt, Sludge Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, and Zen Headbutt, Sucker Punch, Solar Beam, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. Bellsprout is a mixed attacker that is leaning more towards the physical side, and is also a part statuser. Bellsprout is another bond that is also available at the same time as its Evo, but this time it doesn't save as much time to catch the Evo instead. If you're looking for a grass or a poison type that's more on the offensive side, Bellsprout makes a great choice. Weeping Bell is unchanged stat-wise, but now has the Chlorophyll ability. Everything I said about Bellsprout applies to Weeping Bell as well. Gets all the same moves, it's a mixed attacker, offensive grass type, and it wants to be on a Sun team. Other than that, Weeping Bell is a pretty solid mon. Victory Bell has got a small boost to both of its attacks. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Bellsprout and Weeping Bell can get. I'm not sure when or if we'll find a Leaf Stone in the main story, but one can easily be obtained at Mount Battle via Poke Coupons, so Victory Bell can be obtained immediately. Slap Victory Bell on a Sun team and it's gonna shine, and is just a great mon to use. Cipher got a small boost to HP and attack. For moves, it gets Metal Claw, Roost, Feint, Fury Cutter, False Swipe, Air Slash, Slash, Agility, Swords Dance, Night Slash, Steel Wing, First Impression, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff. Oh, and I guess if you really want to use its lower special, it gets Hurricane and Sludge Wave too. Cipher is a very fast physical attacker with a fantastic ability, and is one of few mons that gets access to False Swipe, which is always a plus when you're trying to catch either Shadow Mons or the Wild ones. Scyther is a great asset to a team. Magikarp has got a boost to its special attack. Whoopee! Magikarp, unlike everything else in the Pokespots that come around anywhere between level 15 and 30-ish, Magikarp is one of 2 mons that start at level 1, and it doesn't even get Tackle in this game, which is stupid. If you're crazy enough to get Magikarp to level 25, it'll get Bounce. Normally I don't mention levels, but Magikarp is an exception. If you can persevere and train Magikarp, it's going to evolve into something truly amazing though. Feebas is unchanged from vanilla. Feebas is the second mon that starts at level 1 and only gets Splash until level 25, where it gets Water Pulse. Where Feebas differs from Magikarp is it can at least learn Rain Dance, Scald, Waterfall, and Surf, although with its abysmal stats, it's not going to do anything with those moves. And just like Magikarp, in XG, Feebas evolves at level 20. If you can persevere or slap an EXP share on Feebas, once it evolves, it's going to become magical. Kingler has lost speed as well as special attack, but it has gained buffs to everything else. For moves, it gets Metal Claw, Payback, False Swipe, Hammer Arm, Hone Claws, Crab Hammer, Crush Claw, Swords Dance, Night Slash, Razor Shell, Ice Hammer, Liquidation, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, Superpower, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Waterfall, Aerial Ace, Poison Jab, and Stone Edge, as well as a bunch of other miscellaneous special moves not worth mentioning, and sadly, this is one of the few mons that doesn't get knockoff. Kingler has a very high attack stat as well as defense. Slap a Life Orb on this crab and it'll show just how superior crabs are and why everything evolves into them. Tangela has lost speed but gained HP as well as a bunch of attack, and the Regenerator ability. For moves, it gets Mega Drain, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Hidden Power, Seed Bomb, Leech Seed, Tickle, Giga Drain, Curse, Payback, Power Whip, Leaf Storm, Wide Guard, Encore, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Stone Edge. Tangela is a tank that will be hard to bring down, and can also be a Satisar that can hit pretty hard as well. Tangela is unique compared to the other tanky grass mons, as it is a pure grass type, and it could be a fun mon to use with a team. Tentacle has got a boost to its defense. For moves, it gets Water Gun, Sludge, Rain Dance, Poison Jab, Bubble Beam, Water Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Hydro Pump, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, Scald, Sludge Bomb, Blizzard, Waterfall, and Surf. Tentacle is a bulky water type with a rather limited move pool, but that aside, Tentacle is also a fantastic mon if you're looking for a special wall. Tentacruel has lost some HP but gained more special defense. For moves, it gets Swords Dance, Whirlpool, Disable, Leech Life, Confuse Ray, Screech, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Stone Edge, as well as everything else Tentacruel can learn. Tentacruel is one of many faces of the bulky water types, and is now even more bulky, and has the potential to even do some damage with some setup. Tentacruel is a fantastic mon if you're looking for a special wall that could also do some attacking. Jumpluff has lost HP and special defense, but gained buffs to everything else, and can now have the Prankster ability. For moves, it gets Hidden Power, Leech Seed, Sleep Powder, Nasty Plot, Heal Bell, Baby Doll Eyes, Air Slash, Helping Hand, Roost, Stun Spore, Giga Drain, Encore, Hurricane, Leaf Storm, Taunt, Sunny Day, Tailwind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Sucker Punch, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and while everything in this game gets Toxic, Jumpluff is unique and gets Priority Toxic. Jumpluff is almost entirely a support mon. While it gets some attacking moves, you're better off slapping like 3 support moves on it and U-turn. Even with its buffed attacks, it's probably not going to do much damage on its own. Jumpluff is a phenomenal support and can greatly benefit any team. Apex has gained a bunch of special attack and special defense, and is one of the de facto Sunsetters, thanks to its ability. For moves, it gets Pair Song, Skill Swap, Quick Attack, Will-O-Wisp, Confuse Ray, Flamethrower, Solar Beam, Shadow Ball, Fire Blast, Encore, Snarl, Taunt, Thunderwave, Heatwave, Psyshock, Knock Off both screens, and Dark Pulse. Vulpix and its Evo are available at the same time, and if you're running a Sun team, Vulpix is a must-have. Ninetales lost some attack but gained buffs to its speed, special attack, and special defense. For moves, it gets all the same moves as Vulpix, but can now learn Hex, Nasty Plot, Extra Sentry, Foul Play, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, and Psychic. Ninetales is a very fast special attacker and is one of the stars of Sun teams. Tropius has lost some in both of its defenses, but gained buffs to everything else. For moves, it gets Roost, Dragon Dance, Leech Seed, Leaf Blade, Dragon Hammer, Synthesis, Air Slash, Giga Drain, Dragon Pulse, Solar Beam, Hurricane, Leaf Storm, Wood Hammer, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, Sludge Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Tropius has a pretty wide move pool and has the survivability and also great potential to do some amazing damage. Tropius wants to be on a Sun team for either of its ability, and if you're using a Sun team, Tropius is a fantastic team member. Swablu is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Disarming Voice, Peck, Rain Dance, Sunny Day, Pair Song, Heal Bell, Gust, Sing, Roost, Air Slash, both screens, Cotton Guard, Brave Bird, Mirror Coat, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, and Aerial Ace. Swablu is mostly a support mon. Try to get Natural Cure if possible because it'll become something special upon evolving. Its Evo is also available at the same time, so to save you some time, just get that instead. Swablu on its own is a rather meh mon, but it could be a fun member of the team when it evolves. Octillery lost a bit of special defense, but gained buffs to everything else, as well as getting access to Mega Launcher. For moves, it gets Water Gun, Recover, Aura Sphere, Water Pulse, Rain Dance, Bubble Beam, Waterfall, Surf, Dark Pulse, Liquidation, Gunk Shot, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Stone Edge, and Psychic. Octillery has a very wide move pool and is going to be able to hit big damage with its Mega Launcher. Octillery is a very solid mon to use for a team. Ian has got an Omni Boost. For moves, it gets Fake Out, Cosmic Power, Disable, Air Slash, Signal Beam, Skill Swap, Brick Break, Infestation, Bug Buzz, Endeavor, Wide Guard, Encore, Tailwind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, both screens, and Psychic. And an absurd amount of physical moves that would do very little and are not worth mentioning. With its Omni Boost, as well as its plethora of support moves, Ledian can actually be a pretty decent support special wall, and could be a fun member of the team. Metang has got a huge boost to its attack, and a smaller one to its defense and special attack, and now has the Levitate ability. For moves, it gets Volt Switch, Extra Sensory, Bullet Punch, Hone Claws, Metal Claw, Skill Swap, Rock Polish, Psycho Cut, Meteor Mash, Wide Guard, Ice and Thunder Punch, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Earthquake, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Psychic. Metang is a phenomenal physical attacker. When it evolves, it'll have two different abilities, sadly. And Metang is a fantastic team member. Golbat has got a boost to its speed, as well as one of the best abilities in Intimidate. For moves, it gets Roost, Leech Life, Hypnosis, Nasty Plot, Feint, Shadow Sneak, Bite, Poison Fang, Confuse Ray, Acrobatics, Swagger, Gunk Shot, Brave Bird, Encore, Taunt, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. Golbat is a very fast attacker with a bit of utility, and you can never go wrong of adding another Intimidate user to the team. Crobat has got a small boost to both of its attacks, as well as getting the Intimidate ability. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Golbat can get, but can now get Night Slash, Will-O-Wisp, Tailwind, and Dark Pulse. Crobat is a phenomenal mon with a phenomenal ability, and Honestly, Crobat is one of my personal favorite Pokemon and was absolutely a contender for my team. Dratini is unchanged stat-wise, but can now have the Inner Focus ability. For moves, it gets Dragon Rage, Dragon Tail, Swords Dance, Aqua Tail, Body Slam, Dragon Breath, Flamethrower, Agility, Hurricane, Dragon Pulse, Outrage, Encore, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Waterfall, Flame Charge, Knockoff, both screens, and Surf. While Dratini has a wide move pool and is a pseudo-legend to boot, to save you a bunch of time, just get its Evo because they're both available in the Pokespot. Dragonair is unchanged from vanilla, stat-wise, and can now have the Inner Focus ability. For moves, it can now get Whirlpool, Rest, Coil, Agility, Iron Tail, Icy Wind, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Psychic. With Dragonair having a bigger move pool and better stats than Dratini, the training process will be much smoother. Dragonair being a pseudo-legend is just a great choice to have for a team. Porygon 2 got a slight buff to its attack and has 2 great abilities. And it can even come holding a Lodestone to evolve Trade Evo Mons if you don't want to get one from out battle. For moves, it gets Tri-Attack, Nasty Plot, Swagger, Skill Swap, Disable, Lock On, Charge Beam, Screech, Recover, Hyper Beam, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Trick Room, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Thunder, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. Like many normal Mons, Porygon 2 has an extremely wide move pool, but what separates Porygon 2 from the rest is just slap an Eviolite on it and Porygon 2 becomes one of the most infamous, near unkillable walls, and makes a perfect team member if you're looking for a wall. Psyduck is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Rain Dance, Confuse Ray, Aqua Jet, Disable, Confusion, Screech, Water Gun, Water Pulse, Hydro Pump, Encore, Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Trick Room, Scald, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Waterfall, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Psychic. Slap Psyduck on a rain team and it's going to perform rather decently. Psyduck can be a decent team member, but to save you some time, go ahead and try finding its Evo because it is also available at the same time. Golduck lost some of its speed but gained some special attack and special defense. For moves, it gets all the same moves Psyduck got, and can now learn Skill Swap, Bubble Beam, Extrasensory, Taunt, Focus Blast, Aerial Ace, and Stone Edge. Like Psyduck, Golduck will do pretty great on a rain team, even more so since it got a nice buff to its special attack. Golduck might be worth considering using for the team. Slowking has lost some attack, but has gained 2 fantastic abilities in Regenerator and Unaware. For moves, it gets Curse, Yawn, Power Gem, Skill Swap, Dragon Tail, Confusion, Disable, Water Pulse, Extrasensory, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Rain Dance, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Trick Room, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Waterfall, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. Slowking has both high special attack and special defense, and has a pretty good move pool as well as some fantastic longevity. Slowking is a phenomenal mon to add to a team. Omanyte is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Rock Throw, Water Gun, Rain Dance, Bubble Beam, Mud Shot, Ancient Power, Shell Smash, Water Pulse, Stone Edge, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Scald, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, Blizzard, both screens, and Surf, as well as a bunch of physical moves not worth mentioning. While Omanyte is a decent mon, try to get its Evo as it's available at the same time, and will save you a bunch of time. Omastar got a buff to HP and speed, as well as gaining the bulletproof ability. For moves, it gets all the same moves Omanyte can get, and can now learn Tickle, Leech Life, Whirlpool. Omastar is an amazing physical wall with a high special attack, and thanks to Shell Smash, it has the potential to absolutely wreck house, and can be a super fun mon to use for a team. Kabuto is unchanged stat-wise, but has gained the Shell Armor ability. For moves, it gets Metal Claw, Rock Throw, Aqua Jet, Rock Tomb, Mud Shot, X Scissor, Razor Shell, Rock Slide, Waterfall, Wide Guard, Iron Head, Thunder Wave, both screens, Poison Jab, and a Knockoff, and a bunch of special moves not worth mentioning. While Kabuto is a decent move, try to get its Evo as it's also available at the same time, and will save you a bunch of time. Kabutops got a buff to HP and attack, and gained the Shell Armor ability. For moves, it gets all the same ones that Kabuto got, and can now learn Leech Life, Swords Dance, Slash, Night Slash, Liquidation, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Waterfall, and Stone Edge. Kabutops is a very strong physical attacker, as well as physical wall. Slap this thing on a rain team, and it's going to be phenomenal. Kabutops is a great mon to add to a team. Kadabra is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Teleport, Encore, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Energy Ball, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Dark Pulse, and a bunch of physical moves not worth mentioning. Abra is a very frail but high special attack mon, and is also available at the same time as its evolution, although catching its Evo doesn't save as much time compared to other mons. Abra is a great mon, and will become quite the special monster when fully evolved. Kadabra is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Hidden Power, Confusion, Calm Mind, Disable, Skill Swap, Recover, both Screens, Trick, Extrasensory, and Focus Blast, and the same moves that it got Abra gets. Kadabra is a very fast special attacker, and is going to hit very hard, and if you want you can evolve it immediately, as Lodestones are available at Mountain Battle. Kadabra is a fantastic mon to add to a team. Mankey is unchanged stat-wise, but now has either Defiant or Insomnia for abilities. For moves, it gets Power Up Punch, Mach Punch, Low Kick, Agility, Bullet Punch, Drain Punch, Low Sweep, Rock Slide, Dynamic Punch, Screech, Cross Chop, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Mankey is a pretty solid physical attacker, although its Evo is available too, so if possible, try to get that instead. But if not, Mankey is a pretty solid team member. Horsey is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Aqua Jet, Smoke Screen, Rain Dance, Water Gun, Bubble Beam, Dragon Breath, Water Pulse, Dragon Dance, Icy Wind, U-Turn, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Dragon Pulse, Blizzard, and Surf. Horsey does really well on rain teams. To save a bit of time, try to get its Evo, as it's also available. Either way, Horsey is a great team member. Seadra is unchanged stat-wise, but has gained Swift Swim. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Horsey gets, and can now get Hydro Pump, Outrage, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, and Waterfall. While Sniper is an alright ability, Seadra will do better on a rain team. And also, while Seadra itself is a fun mon and a solid choice for a team, just get a Lodestone for Mountain Battle and you can get its Evo quite immediately. Carvanha has got a boost to its attack, and can have the Speed Boost ability. For moves, it gets Shadow Sneak, Super Fang, Ice Fang, Swords Dance, Bite, Aqua Jet, Aqua Tail, Crunch, Hydro Pump, Liquidation, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Shadow Ball, Waterfall, Surf, and a Dark Pulse. Carvanha is a very frail physical attacker, and due to its frailty, Rough Skin won't help much, and if possible, get its Evo as it's also available at the same time. Minus the frailty, Carvanha is a pretty solid team member. Sharpedo got a buff to everything but special defense and speed. For moves, it gets all the same ones that Carvanha got, and can now have Psychic Fangs, Foul Play, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, and Stone Edge. Sharpedo is a very fast attacker, and with that extra bulk, it can make better use of the Rough Skin, or get some extra speed boosts and tear house. Which other ability you get, Sharpedo will be a great asset to the team. Nidorino is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Mud Shot, Bulldoze, Sludge, Sand Attack, Rock Tomb, Mega Horn, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Flame Charge, and Poison Jab. And as a bunch of special moves that aren't really that worth mentioning right now. Hustle, while it is an annoying ability, it will become something amazing upon evolving, and which you can do immediately, as Moonstones are available at Mount Battle. Nidorino is a pretty solid mon to consider using for a team. Wooper is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Water Gun, Bulldoze, Rain Dance, Toxic, Water Pulse, Yawn, Aqua Tail, Whirlpool, Recover, Waterfall, Stone Edge, Surf, Scald, Ice Beam, and Blizzard. Unfortunately, Water Absorb is the ability that changes into something amazing upon evolving, and not the useless damp. Speaking of its Evo, it is also available at the same time, and while it won't save any time, it is still better to get that instead. Wooper, in my opinion, is a very meh Pokemon, but it could still be fun to use on a team if you want. Quagsire has got a boost to HP and special attack. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Wooper can learn, as well as Liquidation, Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, Earth Power, Gunk Shot, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and both screens. Quagsire is a bulky guy with a great ability in Unaware, as well as great typing. I will say, I think one of my most blasphemous Pokemon takes is I just genuinely do not give a damn about this Pokemon line, and I would rather pick literally anything, well, not literally, almost anything else over them. But I know others enjoy it, and it can be a good mon to add to the team. Quillfish has lost some of its attack and gained special attack, as well as a bunch of HP, as well as gaining both Poison Touch and the Intimidate ability. For moves, it gets Leech Life, Bubble Beam, Pain Split, Sludge, Disable, Water Pulse, Poison Jab, Spiky Shield, Liquidation, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Blizzard, Gunk Shot, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Waterfall, Knock Off, both screens, Surf, and Stone Edge. Quillfish has a very wide move pool, as well as one of the best abilities in the game. Quillfish may be on the more weaker side of the water mons, but it can still be a fun mon to use. Poliwhirl is unchanged from vanilla. For moves, it gets Power Up Punch, Hypnosis, Seismic Toss, Water Pulse, Encore, Rain Dance, Body Slam, Belly Drum, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Scald, Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Waterfall, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. Poliwhirl can also come holding the King's Rock, so both Evos can be gotten immediately. Poliwhirl will do quite well on a rain team, but even without that, Poliwhirl will be a decent mon to use with a split evolution. Poliwrath has lost attack, defense, and special defense, and gained HP and special attack. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Poliwhirl can get, and can now use Circle Throw, Brick Break, Hammer Arm, Close Combat, Thunder Punch, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, and Stone Edge. Poliwrath is now a mixed attacker. Slap this bad boy on a rain team, and he's going to do fantastic work. Pelipper is unchanged from vanilla, stat-wise, but now has the Drizzle ability. Pelipper starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Pain Split, Shadow Breeze, which becomes Rain Dance. As the gauge goes down, it gets Water Pulse and Yawn. For moves, it learns Roost, Substitute, Bubble Beam, Helping Hand, Swagger, Air Slash, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Blizzard, Waterfall, Knock Off, both screens, and Surf. Pelipper is one of two premier mons that are a must-have if you're using a rain team, and with its ability, it's going to be either a massive support, or it's going to hit really hard with its 100% accurate Hurricanes. Pelipper is a phenomenal mon to use, especially if you're using Rain Team. Torkoal has got a boost to its HP, and now has the Drought ability. It starts with Shadow Guard, which becomes Body Slam, Shadow Burn, which becomes Shell Smash. As the gauge goes down, it gets Flamethrower and Sunny Day. For moves, it can learn Curse, Lava Plume, Iron Defense, Overheat, Wide Guard, Encore, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Earthquake, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Torkoal is a premier member for a Sun team, thanks to its ability, and has a pretty wide and great move pool as well. Torkoal is a phenomenal mon to use. Nosepass has lost defense and speed, but has gained a bunch of HP as well as special attack, and has gained the Sandstream ability. Nosepass starts with Shadow Guard, which becomes Zap Cannon, Shadow Bully, which becomes Disable, Shadow Analysis, which becomes Seismic Toss, and Rock Tomb. For moves, it gets Power Gem, Sand Tomb, Rock Throw, Ancient Power, Charge Beam, Volt Switch, Sandstorm, Lock On, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Foul Play, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, and both screens. as well as a bunch of physical moves that won't really do that much. Nosepass is a very tanky mon whose main thing is setting up the sand for sand teams. But other than that, Nosepass is a tank that'll be great. Slap a Rocky Helmet or an Evo Light on this, and this is going to be fantastic to add to the team. Staryu is unchanged stat-wise, but now has the Regenerator ability. Staryu starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Giga Drain, Shadow Star, which becomes Recover. As the gauge goes down, it gets Water Pulse and Confuse Ray. For moves, it gets Disable, Lock On, Rain Dance, Hidden Power, Power Gem, Heal Bell, Calm Mind, and Hydro Pump. Encore, Icy Wind, U-Turn, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Thunderbolt, Blizzard, Scythe Shock, Shadow Ball, Surf, and Psychic. Staryu is a very fast special attacker with great longevity thanks to Recover and Regenerator. Although due to its Staryu being very frail, I'm not entirely sure how effective it's going to be with those tools. But that aside, Staryu is a fantastic mon and a great contender for a team member. Starmie got a buff to HP and special attack, as well as getting the Regenerator ability. For moves, it gets all the same ones that Staryu can get, and can now get Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Trick Room, and Waterfall. Starmie, like Staryu, is a very fast special attacker, and due to it being less frail, it can actually make use of the Recover and Regenerator a lot better. Starmie is a great attacker that's going to be hard to take down, and is just a fantastic team member all around. Sneasel has lost a bit of defense, but has gained some HP, special defense, and a pretty nice chunk of attack and speed, as well as getting the Sniper and Snow Cloak abilities. Sneasel starts with Shadow Slap, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Rush, which becomes Sucker Punch. As the gauge goes down, it gets Ice Fang and False Swipe. For moves, it gets Feint Attack, Hail, Metal Claw, Brick Break, Ice Shard, Night Slash, Hone Claws, Icicle Crash, Crush Claw, Avalanche, Encore, Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Snarl, U-Turn, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Gunk Shot, X Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge, as well as a bunch of miscellaneous special moves not worth mentioning. Sneasel is a menace in both personality and in tagging, and with its high speed, it's almost certainly gonna go first and hit hard. Both abilities are great, but unless you're using a Hail team, Sniper is the way to go. If you're looking for a glass cannon, you can't go wrong with Sneasel. Mawile has lost some speed and attack, but gained a buff to its special attack, as well as getting the huge power ability. Mawile starts with Shadow Fang, which becomes Super Fang, Shadow Fear, which becomes Glare. As the gauge goes down, it gets Metal Claw and Play Rough. For moves, it gets Brick Break, Swagger, Scary Face, Crush Claw, Crunch, Swords Dance, Baton Pass, Pursuit, Iron Tail, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, X Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both Screens, Stone Edge, and Dark Balls. Mawile has an extremely wide move pool with two phenomenal abilities and great typing. Mawile is absolutely a great mon to add to a team. Bayleaf has lost attack, defense, special defense, and speed, and gained special attack as well as a bunch of HP, and getting the Pure Heart and Thick Fat abilities. Bayleaf starts with Leaf Storm, Leech Seed, Spore, and Pain Split. For moves, it gets Hidden Power, Sleep Powder, Helping Hand, Razor Leaf, Giga Drain, Stun Spore, Heal Bell, Synthesis, Sunny Day, Wide Guard, Encore, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Solar Beam, both screens. Bayleaf is one of the best support mons of this game, from what I can tell, and is going to be a great help no matter the team you use. Meganium has lost attack, defense, special defense, and speed, but gained a small boost to special attack and a bunch of HP, as well as gaining Pure Heart and the Thick Fat abilities. For moves, it gets all the same ones that Bayleaf can get, and can now learn Bulldoze, Taunt, Iron Head, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Zen Headbutt, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Psychic. Meganium has gotten even a more wide move pool, and even more potential to be a phenomenal support, or even do some decent hits itself. Meganium is a phenomenal mon to add to the team. Quilava is unchanged stat-wise, and can now have Flash Fire or the Solar Power abilities. Quilava starts with Eruption, Fake Out, Mud Shot, and Fiery Dance. For moves, it gets Night Slash, Body Slam, Smokescreen, Lava Plume, Flare Blitz, Encore, Fire Punch, Taunt, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Solar Beam, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and both screens. Quilava is a fantastic special attacker, and it's going to excel on Sun teams, but even without the Sun team, Quilava is going to be a great member of the team. Typhlosion has lost HP and defense, but gained a lot in both of its attacks, and can now have Flash Fire or Solar Power ability. For moves, it has all the same moves that Quilava can get, and can now have Belly Drum, Night Slash, Brick Break, Crush Claw, Overheat, Explosion, Thunder Punch, Foul Play, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Dragon Claw, Stone Edge. Typhlosion is a very fast special attacker and has a very wide move pool, and it's going to hit extremely hard, and is absolutely a phenomenal team member to use. Croconaw is unchanged stat-wise, and now has the Sheer Force ability. Croconaw starts with Aqua Jet, Dragon Dance, Dragon Tail, and Ice Fang. For moves, it gets Swords Dance, Body Slam, False Swipe, Crunch, Aqua Tail, Crush Claw, Hydro Pump, Ice Punch, Icy Wind, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Ice Beam, Scald, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Dragon Claw, Waterfall, Poison Jab, Surf, and Stone Edge. Croconaw is a fantastic physical attacker, and that has some bulk to it as well. And with its ability, it's going to hit even harder, and just like the other two Johto starters, Croconaw is a phenomenal team member. Feraligatr has lost a bit of HP and defense, and gained a bit of special defense and speed, as well as a single point in its special attack, and has gotten the Sheer Force ability. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Croconaw can get, as well as it can now learn Liquidation, Foul Play, Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Dragon Claw. Feraligatr is a beast of an attacker, and personally my favorite Johto starter, and I even considered using him on my team to be a reference to the Grand Coliseum playthrough, but I decided against that. But regardless, Feraligatr is a fantastic mon to use. Granbull has lost basically all of its special attack, as well as some defense, and gained a bunch of HP in return. Granbull starts with Shadow Fang, which becomes Poison Fang, Shadow Fear, which becomes Heal Bell. As the gauge goes down, it gets Play Rough and Crunch. For moves, it gets Fire, Ice, and Poison Fang, Facade, Brick Break, Body Slam, Super Fang, Close Combat, Giga Impact, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, and Stone Edge, as well as a myriad of special moves not worth mentioning. Granbull has a wide move pool and a great ability in Intimidate, as well as a sort of bugged one in Rattle, as from what I heard, things like Toxic and Shadow moves can activate it as well. But whatever ability you get, Granbull is a great member to add to the team, despite it being ugly as sin. Magmoor has lost some speed and special defense, but has gained buffs to HP, defense, and special attack, as well as can now have the Flash Fire ability. Magmoor starts with Shadow Blaze, which becomes Aura Sphere, Shadow Burn, which becomes Smokescreen. As the gauge goes down, it gets Lava Plume and Nasty Plot. For moves, it gets Swords Dance, Flamethrower, Fire Punch, Solar Beam, Will-O-Wisp, Sunny Day, Overheat, Wide Guard, Encore, Thunder Punch, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knock Off both screens, Stone Edge, Dark Pulse, and for some reason, of all things, it gets Surf. Magmoor has a very wide move pool and is kind of a mixed attacker with a huge asterisk next to that, but it is primarily a special one and it's going to hit hard doing so. Magmoor is a fun mon to add to the team. Pidgeot has lost a small amount of HP and defense, but has gained some attack, as well as a bunch of special attack and speed, as well as a single point into its special defense, and now has the No Guard ability. Pidgeot starts with Shadow Storm, which becomes Acrobatics, Shadow Sky, which becomes Aura Sphere, Shadow Breeze, which becomes Disable, and Hyper Voice. For moves, it gets Roost, Nasty Plot, Feint, Hidden Power, Encore, Swords Dance, Feather Dance, Brave Bird, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Flame Charge of all things, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and both screens. Pidgeot has gotten a pretty substantial buff to pretty much everything useful, and has got a wide move pool, making it quite versatile, and can do some great big damage and have fun with no missing Hurricanes, Heat Waves, and freaking Focus Blast. That stupid move. Pidgeot is a fantastic Mon, and one you might want to consider adding to your team. Pinsir has lost a lot of special attack and gained some special defense and HP, as well as having the Moxie ability. Pinsir starts with Shadow Edge, which becomes Bulldoze, Shadow Feint, which becomes Circle Throw. As the gauge goes down, it gets Bug Bite and Bulk Up. For moves, it gets Quick Attack, Swords Dance, Night Slash, Leech Life, Acrobatics, Close Combat, Lunge, Mega Horn, Wide Guard, Taunt, U-Turn, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, X-Scissor, Aerial Ace, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and Stone Edge, as well as a few miscellaneous special moves here and there, not worth mentioning. Pinsir is a very bulky physical attacker, and while its move pool is smaller than other attackers, what Pinsir does get is going to hit like a truck, and can be a fun mon to use, and is also worth considering using for the team. Piloswine has lost some to both defenses, and has gained a lot of speed as well as both attack stats, and can also have either the Thick Fat or Slush Rush abilities. Piloswine starts with Shadow Freeze, which becomes Endeavor, Shadow Shake, which becomes Earthquake. As the gauge goes down, it gets Ice Fang and Body Slam. For moves, it gets Rock Tomb, Bulldoze, Hail, Ice Shard, Avalanche, Icicle Spear, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and Stone Edge. Piloswine is a bulky-ish physical attacker who has a great move pool and is going to hit extremely hard. Slap an Eviolite on this bad boy, and it's going to be even harder to bring down. Piloswine is a great mon to use. Nuzleaf is unchanged stat-wise and can now have the Defiant ability. Nuzleaf starts with Shadow Whip, which becomes Feint Attack, Shadow Rush, which becomes Leech Seed, Shadow Slap, which becomes First Impression, and a Leaf Blade. For moves, it gets Seed Bomb, Nasty Plot, Giga Drain, Fake Out, Hidden Power, Payback, Wood Hammer, fucking Explosion of all things, Encore, Snarl, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Sucker Punch, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, X-Scissor, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both Screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Nuzleaf is a very versatile mon, and it's going to greatly benefit a Sun team, and you could even evolve it immediately. Nuzleaf is a solid choice. Shiftry has gained a small buff to both of its attacks, as well as the Defiant ability. For moves, it gets all the same moves as Nuzleaf, however it cannot get Explosion unless it was gotten before evolution, and it can now get Swagger, Night Slash, and Leaf Storm. Shiftry is a mixed attacker with quite a wide range of tools to use, and a mon worth considering for the team, especially for a Sun team, but even on a regular team, Shiftry is a pretty solid mon to use. Hariyama has gained a boost to its HP. Hariyama starts with Shadow Throw, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Strength, which becomes Facade, Shadow Max, which becomes Belly Drum, and Force Palm. For moves, it gets Circle Throw, Body Slam, Bulk Up, Bullet Punch, Helping Hand, Mach Punch, Drain Punch, Close Combat, Hammer Arm, Focus Punch, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and Stone Edge. Hariyama is a very bulky physical attacker with a pretty damn wide move pool. It's going to hit pretty hard no matter what move you pick on it, and is a pretty solid choice for a team member. Houndoom has lost some HP, but has gained buffs to everything else, and can now have the Solar Power ability. Houndoom starts with Shadow Blaze, which becomes Lava Plume, Shadow Fang, which becomes Super Fang, Shadow Tease, which becomes Scary Face, and Crunch. For moves, it gets Growl, Swagger, Swords Dance, Hone Claws, Fire Fang, Nasty Plot, Overheat, Snarl, Taunt, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Dark Pulse. Houndoom is a fast mixed attacker, leaning more on the special side, and it's going to hit even harder on a Sun team. Although even without a Sun team, Houndoom is a great mon worth using, and was almost a member of my team. Venusaur has lost a few points in attack and defense, and gained a small buff to special attack, and a bigger buff to HP. Venusaur starts with Shadow Whip, which becomes Sludge, Shadow Sickness, which becomes Hidden Power. As the gauge goes down, it gets Giga Drain and Sleep Powder. For moves, it gets Leaf Storm, Leech Seed, Swords Dance, Body Slam, Stud Spore, Razor Leaf, Seed Bomb, Power Whip, Synthesis, Solar Beam, Wide Guard, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Stone Edge. Venusaur can pretty much do it all. It can tank thanks to its bulk and with thick fat. It can go on the offense with Chlorophyll. Regardless however you use Venusaur, it's a great team member. Ampharos has been hit with one of the most ridiculous changes out of every mon we've covered so far, and probably even the whole game. It has lost a lot of speed, special defense, and attack, and has only gained a small amount of HP and special attack, and not even a new ability or a typing to boot. For moves, it starts with Shadow Bolt, which becomes Energy Ball, Shadow Terrain, which becomes Agility, Shadow Switch, which becomes Confuse Ray, and Shockwaves. Other moves it gets is Dragon Breath, Signal Beam, Hidden Power, Charge Beam, Volt Switch, Cotton Guard, Power Gem, Tail Glow, Encore, Fire and Thunder Punch, Dazzling Gleam, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and both screens. My poor innocent boy has been massacred for no reason. I genuinely think out of all of the mons in this hack, this might be one of the most harsh nerfs, if not the harshest. Normally I would recommend Ampharos, but I just genuinely can't in this hack, and that makes me sad. Alolan Marowak has got a buff to its defense and special attack, as well as getting the Rock Head ability. Alolan Marowak starts with Shadow Club, which becomes Shadow Bone, Shadow Bird, which becomes Double Edge. As the age goes down, it gets Flame Wheel and Swagger, and also comes with the new item Aura Booster, making Shadow moves stronger. For moves, it gets Brick Break, Swords Dance, Curse, Shadow Punch, Bulldoze, Will-O-Wisp, Fire Punch, Flare Blitz, Hex, Wide Guard, Thunder Punch, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Fire Blast, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Psy Shock, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. Alolan Marowak is a physical tank with an extremely wide move pool, and if you can find a Cubone to get the thick club, it's going to hit extremely hard, but even without a thick club, Alolan Marowak is going to be a great team member. Alolan Ninetales has got a buff to special attack and special defense, and has the Snow Warning ability. Alolan Ninetales starts with Shadow Chill, which becomes Fairy Wind, Shadow Freeze, which becomes Aurora Veil. As the gauge goes down, it gets Icy Wind and Hypnosis. For moves, it gets Dazzling Gleam, Nasty Plot, Skill Swap, Hyper Voice, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, Hail, Moonblast, Blizzard, Encore, Foul Play, Snarl, Thunder Wave, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. Alolan Ninetales is a very fast special attacker and special tank, and is a premier mon for Hail teams. While it doesn't have the widest move pool, it has a lot of support and utility, and one of the best moves, Aurora Veil. Alolan Ninetales is an absolutely phenomenal mon to add to a team. Sableye has got a big buff to its HP and its defense, as well as having the Prankster or Magic Bounce ability. For moves, it starts with Shadow Trip, which becomes Payback, Shadow Snooze, which becomes Skill Swap, Shadow Tease, which becomes Hex, and Destiny Bomb. As for other moves it can learn, it gets Swagger, Calm Mind, Will-O-Wisp, Disable, Shadow Sneak, Recover, Fake Out, Shadow Ball, Power Gem, Charge Beam, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Sludge Bomb, Sucker Punch, Psyshock, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. While Sableye has a wide move pool, and it's going to hit pretty okay, It's almost entirely a support utility mon, and with its prankster, it's going to fulfill that role excellently. Magic Bounce isn't as useful in this hack, and if you can, try to get prankster for one of the best support mons in this hack, in my opinion. Zangoose has got a buff to both defenses, as well as getting a single point to speed, and can also have the Guts ability. For moves, it starts with Shadow Strength, which becomes Feint Attack, Shadow Hunter, which becomes Hone Claws. As the gauge goes down, it gets Crush Claw and False Swipe. For other moves it gets Brick Break, Feint, Swords Dance, Swagger, Foul Play, Play Rough, Facade, Close Combat, Double Edge, Wide Guard, Encore, Power Up Punch, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. As well as a bunch of special moves, not worth mentioning. Zangoose has a very wide move pool and an extremely high attack stat. Slap a Flame Orb on this bad boy and it's gonna hit extremely hard. Zangoose is an underrated mon and could be a fun team member. Politoed is our first example of a mon that can be obtained sooner via the Pokespots, but also has a Shadow variant. Politoed has lost stats in basically everything but speed and defense, and has the Drizzle ability. Politoed starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Slap, which becomes Perish Song. As the gauge goes down, it gets Water Pulse and Heal Bell. For moves, it gets Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Hurricane of all things, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, both Screams, and Psychic, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Normally, Politoed is a premier mon for rain teams, but unfortunately, it was hit with the random Mega Nerf hammer, making it quite outclassed by Pelipper, which we've had for quite a while. I suppose if you want for a challenge, use Politoed, but unfortunately, I just can't recommend Politoed for a team member. Togepi is unchanged stat-wise, and can now have the Pure Heart ability. Togepi starts with Shadow Colors, which becomes Tri-Attack, Shadow Star, which becomes Recover, Shadow Madness, which becomes Moonblast, and Shadow Guard, which becomes Shell Smash. Due to Togepi being a baby and having very poor stats, I'm not going to list all the other moves it can learn. Upon evolving, Pure Heart turns into Super Luck, and while we've had access to Togetic for quite a while, we've hit a moral dilemma in our Pokemon game. Do we give the Togepi back for a unique mon to this hack, or do we keep it and evolve it into a Togetic for Moonblast, Recover, and Shell Smash, as the Togetics we can catch don't have those moves? The choice is ultimately yours. Bonsly has lost some to both defenses and has gained a bit of speed and a ton of HP, and now evolves due to Max Friendship. Bonsly starts with Woodhammer, Head Smash, Wish, and First Impression. For moves, it gets Rock Blast, Bulldoze, Low Kick, Rock Tomb, Rock Polish, Sandstorm, Double Edge, the Elemental Punches, fucking Tailwind, Hurricane, and Draco Meteor for some god reason. U-Turn, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Wild Charge, Trick Room, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, X Scissor, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, both screens, and for some reason, it basically gets every single special move in this game, but it cannot get Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Knockoff, or even Stone Edge? What the hell is this Bonsly's moveset? Well, that insanity aside, Bonsly will be a pretty solid team member. Sudowoodo has lost a bit to special defense, but has gained a bit to physical defense, as well as a bunch of HP, and losing the ability to use basically any move of the game. For moves, it can now learn Fake Out, Bulk Up, Brick Break, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Sudowoodo is a tank that can dish out some surprising damage, and with the Rock Head, it can Unga Bunga with no worries. And while it may not be able to learn basically every move like its predecessor, it doesn't really need it, and it's a pretty solid mon to use for a team. Absol has got a pretty nice buff to everything but attack, and can now have the Justified or Magic Bounce abilities. Absol starts with Shadow Rush, which becomes Extreme Speed, Shadow Slayer, which becomes Hyper Beam. As the gauge goes down, it gets Feint Attack and Hone Claws. For moves, it gets False Swipe, Crush Claw, Fire and Ice Fang, Swords Dance, Play Rough, Double Edge, Mega Horn, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, U-Turn, Hurricane, Fire Blast, Foul Play, Thunderwave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Psyshock, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, X-Scissor, Thunder, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. Absol is a mixed attacker, leaning far more on the physical side, and has an extremely wide move pool. Justified is the better of the two abilities. Overall, Absol is a very great mon, worth considering using for a team. Gengar has gotten a small buff to both of its defenses, and a pretty big one to its physical attack, as well as getting access to the Shadow Tag and Levitate abilities. Gengar starts with Shadow Soul, which becomes Hex, Shadow Sky, which becomes Flamethrower, Shadow Snooze, which becomes Pain Split, and Shadow Madness, which becomes Disable. For moves, it gets Hypnosis, Perish Song, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, Confuse Ray, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Destiny Bond, and Explosion of all things. Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Taunt, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Will-O-Wisp, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Psyshock, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse. Gengar is a very fast special attacker with a very wide move pool, and even some decent survivability and utility. Gengar is absolutely a fantastic mon to add to a team. Electabuzz has lost some to both defenses, but has gained a bit of HP and a ton of physical attack, as well as getting the Motor Drive ability. Electabuzz starts with Shadow Bolt, which becomes Close Combat, Shadow Crush, which becomes Double Team, Shadow Fear, which becomes Bulk Up, and Spark. For moves, it gets Brick Break, Agility, Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, Charge Beam, Cross Chop, Volt Switch, Screech, Zap Cannon, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Stone Edge. Electabuzz is a very fast physical attacker with a decent move pool and a nice variety of buffing moves to boot. Electabuzz is worth considering using for a team. Lapras has lost some to both defenses, but has gained a bit to both attacks as well as HP, and can have the Bulletproof ability. Lapras starts with Shadow Chill, which becomes Freeze Dry, Shadow Sky, which becomes Dragon Dance. As the gauge goes down, it gets Waterfall and Ice Shard. For moves, it gets Hail, Water Pulse, Aurora Veil, Perish Song, Ice Beam, Heal Bell, Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, both screens, and Surf. Lapras is a pretty balanced mon overall, and it can be either like a bulky support type, or hit surprisingly hard with Dragon Dance. But however you use Lapras, it's a pretty fantastic mon to add to a team. Hitmonlee has lost a bit to defense and gained a bit to speed, as well as a bunch of HP. It starts with Shadow Slap, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Knee, which becomes Bounce, Shadow Crush, which becomes Feint, and Jump Kick. For moves, it gets Mach Punch, Low Sweep, Brick Break, Low Kick, Counter, Blaze Kick, Bullet Punch, Double Edge, Extreme Speed, Close Combat, High Jump Kick, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Hitmonlee is very much a glass cannon. Just get reckless, slap a life orb or a choice item on this bad boy, and take a gamble. Either it dies or the opponent dies. And because of this gamble, Hitmonlee could be quite a fun mon to use for a team. Weezing has lost a ton of speed and a bit to both of its attacks, but has gained buff to both defenses as well as HP. It starts with Shadow Trip, which becomes Foul Play, Shadow Boom, which becomes Explosion, Shadow Sickness, which becomes Destiny Bond, and Shadow Guard, which becomes Sludge Bomb. For moves, it gets Pain Split, Payback, Will-O-Wisp, Poison Fang, Screech, Iron Defense, Smoke Screen, Gunk Shot, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both Screens, Stone Edge, and Dark Pulse. Weezing is a very bulky mon, and with only one weakness thanks to its ability. Not really much to say. If you're looking for a very bulky wall, consider using Weezing. Bayonet has lost a lot of speed, as well as some special attack, and has gained buffs to everything else, as well as getting the Prankster ability, which is honestly something it should have as one of its abilities in the base games anyway. Bayonet starts with Shadow Analysis, which becomes Shadow Claw, Shadow Sky, which becomes Swagger, Shadow Fear, which becomes just Disable, Shadow Madness, which becomes Pain Split. For moves, it gets Hypnosis, Mean Look, Shadow Sneak, Destiny Bond, Hex, Helping Hand, Night's Shade, Shadow Ball, Skill Swap, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, Rain Dance, Sunny Day, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Wild Charge, Trick Room, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Toxic, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both Screens, and a myriad of special moves. Not really worth mentioning. Bayonet is a decently bulky physical attacker with a pretty wide move pool, so it's either going to hit hard, or with its ability it can play a major support role. However you use Bayonet, it's going to be a great asset to the team, and is absolutely a contender for mine. Nidoqueen has lost some to attack, defense, special defense, and speed, and has gained some to attack and HP, and has the Sheer Force ability. Nidoqueen starts with Shadow Blaze, which becomes Moonblast, Shadow Shake, which becomes Nasty Plot. As the gauge goes down, it gets Bulldoze and Heal Bell. For moves, it gets Mudshot, Sludge, Rock Tomb, Dragon Tail, Mega Horn, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, X Scissor, Thunder, Poison Jab, both Screens, Stone Edge, and Dark Pulse. Nidoqueen is a jack of all trades with average stats and a very wide move pool. Surely, however you use Nidoqueen, it's going to be a great help to the team. Ursaring has lost basically all of its special attack, and has gained some to both defenses and HP, as well as a single point to attack, and can have the Rattled ability. Ursaring starts with Shadow Shake, which becomes Woodhammer, Shadow Strength, which becomes Hone Claws, Shadow Max, which becomes Screech, and Crush Claw. For moves, it can learn Brick Break, Play Rough, Bulldoze, Feint, Swords Dance, Return, Hammer Arm, Slash, Facade, Close Combat, Double Edge, Giga Impact, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Aerial Ace, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge, as well as a myriad of special moves not really worth mentioning. Ursaring is a very bulky physical attacker with a decent move pool and 2 solid abilities, and it's going to make a fantastic team if you choose to use it. Walrein has lost a ton to both defenses, attack, and speed, and has gained a small amount of special attack, as well as a ton of HP, and getting the Snow Warning ability. Walrein starts with Shadow Chill, which becomes Water Pulse, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Aurora Veil, Shadow Freeze, which becomes Yawn, and Ice Shard. For moves, it gets Growl, Ice Fang, Aurora Beam, Aqua Tail, Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Ice Beam, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Waterfall, Knockoff, and Surf. Walrein is a tank with a high special attack and a rather limited move pool, but it makes up for it for being a premier member of a Hail team due to its ability and the access to Aurora Veil. If you're looking for something bulkier for a Hail team than Alolan Ninetales, look no further than Walrein, and it's going to be a great asset to a team. Glalie has gotten an Omni buff, as well as getting both Refrigerate and Slush Rush for its abilities. It starts with Shadow Freeze, which becomes Explosion, Shadow Chill, which becomes Hyper Voice, Shadow Switch, which becomes Swagger, and Ice Fang. For moves, it gets Icicle Crush, Headbutt, Swords Dance, Destiny Bond, Aurora Veil, Ice Shard, Return, Crunch, Ice Beam, Double Edge, Blizzard, Hyper Beam, Giga Impact, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Encore, Taunt, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Surf, Stone Edge, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Glalie has gotten some pretty massive buffs and can play very well on a Hail team or on regular teams. The main drawback is it has a rather small move pool, but that aside, the Glalie for once is a fantastic choice for a team member. Cloyster has got a slight buff to its attack and its HP, as well as getting the bulletproof ability. It starts with Shadow Combo, which becomes Razor Shell, Shadow Guard, which becomes Spiky Shield, Shadow Freeze, which becomes Shell Smash, and Ice Shard. For moves, it gets Icicle Spear, Aurora Veil, Rock Blast, Liquidation, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Waterfall, Surf, Stone Edge, and Dark Pulse. Cloyster is a physical tank that can dish out some very strong attacks, especially after a Shell Smash, and with Skill Link, it can easily deal with any potential threat. Although it does have a very limited move pool, but that aside, it is a fantastic choice for a team member. Dusclops has gotten a buff to HP and attack, and has the Insomnia ability of all things. It starts with Shadow Bully, which becomes Disable, Shadow Terrain, which becomes Pain Split, Shadow Snooze, which becomes Hypnosis, and Shadow Punch. For moves, it gets Taunt, Skill Swap, Substitute, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Sneak, Confuse Ray, Curse, Destiny Bond, Swagger, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both Screens, and Stone Edge, as well as several special moves not worth mentioning. Dusclops is a wall, a damn near unkillable one, especially with the EVLI, and having a myriad of support moves. It's gonna hit okay-ish, but it's almost entirely a support mon, and one hell of a good one too. Dusclops is a fantastic mon to use, and was almost a team member of mine. Armaldo has lost some special defense, and a lot of special attack, and has gained a very small amount of HP. Armaldo starts with Shadow Guard, which becomes First Impression, Shadow Shake, which becomes Shell Smash, Shadow Crush, which becomes Fury Cutter, and Rock Tomb. For moves, it gets Swords Dance, False Swipe, Bulldoze, Infestation, Aqua Jet, Brick Break, Iron Claws, Aqua Tail, Rock Polish, Rock Blast, Head Smash, Wide Guard, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both Screens, and Stone Edge. Armaldo is a great physical attacker and physical wall, who both has a smaller move pool and weirdly wants to be on a rain team. But even without the rain, Armaldo will be a pretty decent team member. Charizard has lost some defense and has gained a bit of HP, attack, and special attack, as well as getting the Drought or Tough Claw abilities. It starts with Shadow Blaze, which becomes Flare Blitz, Shadow Burn, which becomes Smoke Screen, Shadow Breeze, which becomes Dragon Dance, and Air Slash. For moves, it gets Slash, Roost, False Swipe, Dragon Tail, Swords Dance, Fire Fang, Belly Jump, Fire and Thunder Punch, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Power Punch, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Charizard is a fast mixed attacker with two great abilities. It can be a backup Sunsetter, or it can do some more damage with its Tough Claws. If Charizard is your cup of tea, I'm sure it's going to be a great team member. Rhydon has lost some of its special attack, but has gotten probably the best ability for its type combo in Filter. Rhydon starts with Shadow Smash, which becomes Double Edge, Shadow Crush, which becomes Rock Blast, Shadow Guard, which becomes Aqua Tail, and Shadow Shake, which becomes Stomping Tantrum. For moves, it gets Body Slam, Bulldoze, Swords Dance, Payback, Brick Break, Rock Polish, Dragon Tail, Hammer Arm, Mega Horn, Drill Run, Head Smash, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Power Punch, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both Screens, Stone Edge, Always Funny, Surf, as well as a myriad of other special moves that are absolutely not worth mentioning. Rhydon is both a physical wall and attacker, who is cursed with one of the worst type combos of the game, and usually cannot do anything. However, in XG, with the fact it has gotten the Filter ability, it is able to thrive at its roles and is absolutely worth considering for a team member and can have lots of fun. Explode has lost a small amount of speed and both defenses, and has gained a small amount of HP and both attacks. It starts with Shadow Slayer, which becomes Bug Buzz, Shadow Sky, which becomes Explosion, Shadow Scream, which becomes Disarming Voice, and Boom Burst. For moves, it gets Hyper Voice, Belly Drum, Body Slam, Encore, Crunch, Nasty Plot, Double Edge, Stomping Tantrum, Pear Song, Hyper Beam, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Gunk Shot, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Surf, Stone Edge, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Explode is a mixed attacker and like most normal types has a very wide move pool, but what makes Explode stand out is it can hit those mischievous ghost types with its normal moves, but overall, Explode is a pretty solid team member. Gardevoir has lost some defense and attack, and has gained some special defense and HP, as well as getting the Pixelate ability. It starts with Shadow Burst, which becomes Hyper Beam, Shadow Snooze, which becomes Hypnosis, Shadow Madness, which becomes Disable, and Fairy Wind. For moves, it gets Psybeam, Heal Bell, Destiny Bond, Skill Swap, Charge Beam, Double Team, Helping Hand, Calm Mind, Hyper Voice, Extrasensory, Moonblast, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Energy Ball, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, both screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Gardevoir is a special attacker and special wall, with quite a lot of useful tools at its disposal. Regardless however you use Gardevoir, it's going to be a great asset to a team. Heracross has gained some special defense and HP, as well as getting the Skill Link and Moxie abilities. It starts with Shadow Strength, which becomes Drain Punch, Shadow Focus, which becomes Counter, Shadow Combo, which becomes Bulk Up, and Lunge. For moves, it gets Low Sweep, Infestation, Rock Blast, Bullet Seed, Headbutt, Brick Break, Feint, Pin Missile, Arm Thrust, Close Combat, Megahorn, Wide Guard, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, X-Scissor, Aerial Ace, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and Stone Edge. Heracross is a bulky physical attacker with two fantastic abilities, and a great move pool to make use of them. Heracross is easily a phenomenal team member. Arcanine has gained a small amount to everything but speed, as well as getting the Justified ability. It starts with Shadow Speed, which becomes Extreme Speed, Shadow Burn, which becomes Morning Sun, Shadow Blaze, which becomes Hone Claws, and Flame Wheel. For moves, it gets Swords Dance, Fire Fang, Endeavor, Bulk Up, Body Slam, Scary Face, Bulldoze, Flare Blitz, Crunch, Stone Edge, Encore, Snarl, Taunt, Fire Blast, Will-O-Wisp, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Aerial Ace, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, and Knock Off. Arcanine is a fast mixed attacker, leaning more towards the physical side, and has one of the best abilities of the game in Intimidate. While it doesn't have the biggest move pool, what it does have is great, and Arcanine is a pretty solid team member. Aggron has lost some special attack, but has gained buffs to both defenses, attack, and HP, as well as getting the Filter ability. It starts with Shadow Smash, which becomes Rock Blast, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Screech, Shadow Guard, which becomes Iron Tail, and Shadow Hunter, which becomes Rock Polish. For moves, it gets Rock Tomb, Hammer Arm, Double Edge, Bulldoze, Dragon Tail, Brick Break, Metal Claw, Iron Defense, Swords Dance, Hone Claws, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Power Up Punch, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Aggron is a physical wall as well as attacker, and with the Filter ability, it can be even more effective as a wall. Aggron is a fantastic Mon, and was almost a member of my team. Machamp has got a slight attack and defense buff. Machamp starts with Shadow Strength, which becomes Facade, Shadow Focus, which becomes Seismic Toss, Shadow Throw, which becomes Circle Throw, and Bulk Up. For moves, it gets Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Feint, Swords Dance, Power Up Punch, Low Kick, Body Slam, Drain Punch, Dynamic Punch, Hammer Arm, Close Combat, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Machamp is a very strong physical attacker with a shallow move pool, but it'll hit like a truck with what it does have. Machamp is a pretty fun mon to use. Muk has lost some speed and gained a buff to special attack and HP, and now has the Limber or Poison Touch abilities. It starts with Shadow Crush, which becomes Earthquake, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Pursuit, Shadow Sickness, which becomes Drain Punch, and Sludge. For moves, it gets Shadow Sneak, Disable, Yawn, Rest, Brick Break, Poison Jab, Body Slam, Curse, Gunk Shot, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Sucker Punch, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both Screams, and Stone Edge. As well as a myriad of special moves not worth mentioning. Muk is a very bulky physical attacker with a pretty decent move pool, a nice mix of offensive and defensive. Overall, Muk is a pretty solid mon to use. Cradily has lost some defense and a lot to its attack, and has gained a single point to HP and special attack, and now has the Poison Heal and Storm Drain abilities. It starts with Shadow Sickness, which becomes Iron Defense, Shadow Trip, which becomes Foul Play, Shadow Spirit, which becomes Swagger, and Leech Seed. For moves, it gets Rock Throw, Body Slam, Giga Drain, Sandstorm, Rock Tomb, Confuse Ray, Rock Blast, Ancient Power, Synthesis, Power Whip, Iron Head, Head Smash, Wide Guard, Encore, Snarl, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, funny enough, Surf, and Stone Edge. Cradily is primarily a wall that has so much survivability potential that it might as well be near unkillable unless it's focused down, and unfortunately it learns more physical moves than special, especially with that big hit to its physical attack. But that aside, Cradily can be a pretty decent mon to use. Fortress has lost a ton of speed and special attack, and has gained a small buff to both defenses. It starts with Shadow Analysis, which becomes Infestation, Shadow Switch, which becomes Volt Switch, Shadow Bully, which becomes Leech Seed, and Shadow Guard, which becomes Bug Bite. For moves, it gets Payback, Swagger, Mud Slap, Body Slam, Bulldoze, Explosion, First Impression, Spikes, Wide Guard, Taunt, U-Turn, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Fortress is a physical wall and can do some decent damage, although with how this game is, it being a spike setter is very unnecessary. While Fortress is a great wall, we have had better options for quite a while, but if you want to use it, it's going to be a pretty solid mon to use. Steelix has lost a bit to special defense and has gained a ton to attack, defense, and HP, as well as getting the Sand Force and Filter abilities. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Bulldoze, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Swords Dance, Shadow Fear, which becomes Glare, and Iron Tail. For moves, it gets Ice Fang, Fire Fang, Sandstorm, Dragon Tail, Rock Tomb, Rock Polish, Payback, Crunch, Head Smash, Wide Guard, Taunt, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Steelix has gone from, in my opinion, a minor inconvenience to an actual threat with its buffed attack power, as well as extra damage on sand teams, or having extra staying power with the filter ability. Either way, Steelix is a phenomenal mon to use. Regirock has lost some speed and gained a small amount of HP, as well as getting the Sand Force ability. It starts with Shadow Giant, which becomes Seismic Toss, Shadow Max, which becomes Belly Drum, Shadow Hunter, which becomes Explosion, Shadow Crush, which becomes Rock Tube. For moves, it gets Sandstorm, Curse, Hammer On, High Horsepower, Head Smash, Wide Guard, Fire and Thunder Punch, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Regirock is a wall and it's going to hit hard, doubly so if it's on a sand team. Regirock being our first legendary, of course it's a phenomenal team member, well, that is if you choose to use it. Claydol has lost a lot of its attack and has gained buffs to special attack, special defense, and speed, as well as getting the Sandstream ability. It starts with Shadow Madness, which becomes Mudshot, Shadow Switch, which becomes Volt Switch, Shadow Analysis, which becomes Disable, and Extra Sentry. For moves, it gets Skill Swap, Nightshade, Power Gem, Psybeam, Rest, Ancient Power, Sandstorm, Cosmic Power, Explosion, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Earth Power, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, both Screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Claydol is a wall special attacker mix and is a great asset to any sand team. Wailord has lost a ton to its speed and some to both attacks, but has gained a lot to both defenses and HP, as well as getting the Drizzle ability. It starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Body Slam, Shadow Guard, which becomes Double Edge, Shadow Star, which becomes Slack Off, and Water Spout. For moves, it gets Pain Split, Yawn, Hyper Voice, Surf, Liquidation, Rest, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Waterfall, both Screens, and Stone Edge. Wailord is a very tanky mixed attacker with unfortunately a limited move pool, but it's going to be able to do quite a lot of damage with that water sport, and with it having Drizzle, it's perfect for rain teams. Gyarados has only gained a small buff to both of his attacks. It starts with Shadow Tantrum, which becomes Aerial Ace, Shadow Fear, which becomes Glare, Shadow Agility, which becomes Dragon Dance, and Hydro Pump. For moves, it gets Dragon Tail, Aqua Tail, Ice Fang, Crunch, Swords Dance, Outrage, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, Waterfall, and Stone Edge, as well as a myriad of special moves not really worth mentioning. Gyarados is a menace with two fantastic abilities, and if you wish to use Gyarados, I personally suggest using it much sooner when we first got access to its previous evolution, as Gyarados Shadow doesn't get anything special that it can't normally get. Gyarados is just simply an amazing mon to use. Marowak has gained some HP, defense, and special attack, as well as getting the Reckless ability, and also comes holding a thick club. It starts with Shadow Club, which will become Double Edge, Shadow Shake, which becomes Screech, Shadow Rush, which becomes Swagger, and Bone Club. For moves, it gets Feint, Brick Break, Swords Dance, Glare, False Swipe, Rock Tomb, Headbutt, Sandstorm, Hammer Arm, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Power Up Punch, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Aerial Ace, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both Screens, and Stone Edge, as well as a myriad of special moves not worth mentioning. Marowak is a rather bulky mon that could hit very hard thanks to the thick club. While Marowak is a pretty decent mon, if you wanted to use one for your team, I say just get a Cubone, as we've had that for a long time, as Marowak Shadow doesn't get anything that it can't already get, and would have been far more useful for the team than it is now. Nidoking has lost a bit to its defense and has gained some HP, attack, and special attack, and has the Sheer Force ability. It starts with Shadow Shake, which becomes Lunge, Shadow Fear, which becomes Swords Dance, Shadow Hunter, which becomes Iron Tail, and Bulldoze. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Nidorino could, and can now learn the Elemental Punches, Power Up Punch, Wild Charge, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, X Scissor, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, and Surf. Nidoking is a bulky-ish mixed attacker, leaning more towards the physical side. While Nidoking was available sooner, Nidoking Shadow gets some fun moves that it can't normally get, so if you wish to use Nidoking, I'd say wait until you get Nidoking Shadow, but having them on sooner could have been a great asset to the team as well. Slowbro has lost some of its attack and has gained the Regenerator ability. It starts with Shadow Madness, which becomes Water Pulse, Shadow Switch, which becomes Extra Sensory, Shadow Sickness, which becomes Disable, and Shadow Guard, which becomes Slack Off. For moves, it gets Curse, Yawn, Skill Swap, Calm Mind, Rain Dance, both Screens, Psychic, Hydro Pump, Icy Wind, Taunt, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Trick Room, Scald, Flamethrower, Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Psyshock, and Surf. Slowbro is a tank with a high utility and high use survivability. It'll be able to hit pretty decently strong as well. Slowbro is a pretty phenomenal mon to use for a Trick Room or a Rain Team. Milotic has gained a very small amount of special defense, and it starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Moonblast, Shadow Sky, which becomes Glare, Shadow Star, which becomes Recover, and Shadow Slayer, which becomes Coil. For moves, it gets Water Pulse, Rain Dance, Bubble Beam, Calm Mind, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Ice Beam, Scald, Freeze Dry, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, both Screens, Surf, and Psychic. Milotic is a bulky special attacker with two pretty solid abilities. If you wanted to use Milotic, I would suggest getting it from a Feebas earlier in the game. The only difference between Milotic Shadow and regular ones is it gets Moonblast, and if you got it earlier in the game, it would have had plenty of time to shine for a team than it does now. Mr. Mime has lost some of its defense and has gained some HP and special defense. It starts with Shadow Madness, which becomes Destiny Bond, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Extra Sensory, Shadow Sky, which becomes Skill Swap, and Moonblast. For moves, it gets Helping Hand, Feint, Draining Kiss, Nasty Plot, both Screens, Encore, Baton Pass, Fairy Wind, Trick, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Psychic, and Dark Pulse, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Mr. Mime is a special wall, special attacker mix with two fantastic abilities and a lot of utility and support potential. Honestly, as much as I rag on Mr. Mime a lot due to its design and it being a fairy all of a sudden, it's a pretty decent mon overall. Altaria has lost some of its defense and has gained a lot to everything but speed, as well as getting the Pixelate ability. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Brave Bird, Shadow Breeze, which becomes Boom Burst, Shadow Storm, which becomes Rest, and Dragon Dance. For moves, it gets Body Slam, Disarming Voice, Perish Song, Heal Bell, Dragon Breath, Sing, Roost, Double Team, Return, Facade, Cotton Guard, Double Edge, Draco Meteor, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Ironhead, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Solar Beam, Thunder, Aerial Ace, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, both Screens, and Surf. Overall, Altaria is a fairly balanced mon. It's got some good bulk, it's got pretty good attacks, it has a wide move pool, and a solid ability. Overall, Altaria is a pretty great mon to use. Blastoise has lost a lot of speed and attack, and has gained buffs to special attack, defense, and HP, as well as getting the bulletproof and mega launcher abilities. It starts with Shadow Pulse, which becomes Water Spout, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Yawn. As the gauge goes down, it gets Water Pulse and Shell Smash. For moves, it gets Ice Fang, Aura Sphere, Nasty Plot, Rest, Whirlpool, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Sludge Bomb, Dragon Pulse, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, both Screens, Surf, and Dark Pulse, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Blastoise is a pretty bulky mon that'll be able to do some pretty decent damage and has two pretty great abilities. And just like all the other starters, it's a solid choice to use for a team. Hitmonchan has lost a point to speed and has gained a lot to HP, special defense, some attack, and a single point to defense, and now has the No Guard ability. It starts with Shadow Focus, which becomes First Impression, Shadow Combo, which becomes Sucker Punch, Shadow Analysis, which becomes Disable, and a Dynamic Punch. For moves, it gets Power Up Punch, Shadow Punch, Bullet Punch, Feint, Mach Punch, Bulk Up, Circle Throw, Brick Break, Sky Uppercut, Drain Punch, Close Combat, Focus Punch, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both Scrades, and Stone Edge. Hitmonchan is a bulky mon that's going to hit surprisingly hard and comes with a double-edged sword of No Guard. And as we've seen, it's a very mixed result of raging from annoyance to really hilarious. Mantine has got a very slight boost to its special defense, and that is all. It starts with Shadow Analysis, which becomes Aqua Jet, Shadow Madness, which becomes Water Spout. As the gauge goes down, it gets Air Slash and Heal Bell. For moves, it gets Psybeam, Recover, Seed Bomb, Bubble Beam, Signal Beam, Confuse Ray, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Freeze Dry, Blizzard, both screens, and Surf. Mantine is a special wall, and that's pretty much it. It can do pretty much what other bulky water types can do, but unfortunately due to it only having that very slight buff to its special defense, as much as I love Mantine and it being one of my favorite Pokemon, it just comes far too late into the game to be really any use when we've had many other bulky waters that can do exactly what it can do and then some. Cacturne has gotten a small buff to HP and has gotten 2 great abilities in Storm Drain and Sand Rush. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Swagger, Shadow Fear, which becomes Glare, Shadow Sky, which becomes Feint Attack, and Cotton Guard. For moves, it gets Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, Synthesis, Leech Seed, Needle Arm, Feint, Spiky Shield, Seed Bomb, Sandstorm, Bullet Seed, Sucker Punch, Wood Hammer, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Psychic, and Dart Pulse. Cacturne is a mixed attacker with a pretty wide move pool, and it does phenomenal on sand teams, due to both of its abilities, either boosting its speed or redirecting water moves. Cacturne is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The only difference between Cacturne Shadow and the regular is the Shadow comes with Cotton Guard. Frankly, if you wish to use a Cacturne, I say catch it at the Pokespot, and it would have been more helpful throughout the game. Crawdaunt has lost a ton of special attack and has gained some attack and defense at a lot of HP, as well as having the adaptability ability. It starts with Shadow Edge, which becomes Liquidation, Shadow Hunter, which becomes Ice Hammer. As the gauge goes down, it gets Aqua Jet and Swords Dance. For moves, it gets Swagger, Crush Claw, Night Slash, Razor Shell, Dragon Claw, Dual Chop, Crab Hammer, Hammer Arm, Aqua Tail, Crunch, Wide Guard, Encore, Ice Punch, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Aerial Ace, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge, as well as a myriad of special moves not worth mentioning. Crawdaunt is a physical attacker with great sweeping capabilities. It is also available sooner via the Pokespots, and the only difference is that Crawdaunt Shadow has Ice Hammer. If you wanted to use Crawdaunt, I say catch it from the Pokespot, as it would have been helpful throughout the entire game. Shuckle has gotten a buff to its HP and both defenses. It starts with Shadow Sickness, which becomes U-Turn, Shadow Trip, which becomes Foul Play, Shadow Analysis, which becomes Infestation, and Shadow Sky, which becomes Leech Seed. For moves, it gets Shell Smash, Payback, Encore, Sandstorm, Rock Tomb, Rest, Wide Guard, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Toxic, both screens, as well as several physical and special moves not worth mentioning. Shuckle is the definition of a wall, and with its diabolical starting moves, it's absolutely going to be a great help to a team in a supporting role. This just simply vile, degenerate creature is it's so evil. Metagross has lost some special attack and has gained some special defense, as well as getting the Tough Claws ability. It starts with Shadow Rush, which becomes Fire Punch, Shadow Analysis, which becomes Disable. As the gauge goes down, it gets Bullet Punch and Swords Dance. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Metang can get, and now it can get Hammer Arm, Wild Charge, Superpower, Earthquake, and Stone Edge. Metagross is a physical attacker, physical wall mix with a great move pool. Metagross is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Metagross Shadow and the regular is Shadow gets Fire Punch, Disable, and Swords Dance, but it misses out on Psycho Cut, and Meteor Mash, and Volt Switch, which the regular ones get. And if you get the regular one, it can be a great help throughout the entire game instead of just the final dungeon. Scizor has got a buff to its special attack and its defense. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Bug Bite, Shadow Feint, which becomes Metal Sound, Shadow Turn, which becomes Mach Punch, and Shadow Agility, which becomes Dual Chop. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Cipher can get, and can now get Cross Chop, Pursuit, Bullet Punch, Feint Attack, Wide Guard, Taunt, U-Turn, Power Punch, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, Superpower, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Stone Edge. Scizor is a bulky physical attacker with a great type combo, moveset, and ability. Scizor is available sooner via the Poké spots. Scizor's Shadow gets a Bug Bite, Mach Punch, and Dual Chop to make great use of its Technician boost. However, regular Scizor could have been a phenomenal help throughout the whole game. Either way, Scizor is a phenomenal mon to use for your team. Jinx has lost some special defense, but has gained some attack, special attack, and speed, and now has the Snow Cloak ability. It starts with Shadow Scream, which becomes Hyper Beam, Shadow Slap, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Freeze, which becomes Moonblast, and Ice Shard. For moves, it gets Aurora Veil, Skill Swap, Lovely Kiss, Sweet Kiss, Draining Kiss, Hail, Baton Pass, Disable, Hyper Voice, Extra Sensory, Paris Song, Encore, Icy Wind, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Blizzard, Focus Blast, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Dark Pulse, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Jinx is a surprisingly fast special attacker and has a lot of support capabilities. Jinx definitely wants to be on the Hail team, and it's going to do phenomenally. Blissey has got a slight buff to its special defense. It starts with Shadow Slayer, which becomes Moonblast, Shadow Star, which becomes Calm Mind, Shadow Trip, which becomes Foul Play, and Shadow Sky, which becomes Wish. Blissey can learn everything that Chansey can learn. Blissey is the definition of a special wall, and is also available sooner via the Pokéspots. The difference between Blissey Shadow and regular is Shadow is weirdly geared towards more offensive with its Foul Play or calm-minded boosted Moonblasts, while regular is the wall that it's known for. Although Chansey with the Eviolite is arguably better, and both could have been a great help throughout the whole game, maybe it could be fun to see how offensive Blissey works during the postgame. Xatu has lost a bit of speed and attack, and has gained a bit of defense and special defense, and a lot of HP, and it now has the Magic Bounce ability. It starts with Shadow Madness, which becomes Feather Dance, Shadow Sky, which becomes Flamethrower. As the gauge goes down, it gets Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. For moves, it gets Psybeam, Calm Mind, Nightshade, Charge Beam, Wish, Roost, Extra Sensory, Air Slash, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Energy Ball, Heat Wave, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, both screens, Psychic, and Dark Pulse. Xatu is a fairly average mon with a diverse move pool, and frankly, it probably would have done a lot better if it was available way sooner in the game. But at this point, it's just quite outclassed by pretty much everything. Golem has lost some special attack and special defense, and has gained defense, as well as getting the filter ability. It starts with Shadow Shake, which becomes Shell Smash, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Head Smash, Shadow Throw, which becomes Circle Throw, and Rock Tomb. For moves, it gets all the same moves that Graveler can, and can now get Brick Break, Sandstorm, and Hammer Arm. Golem is a physical wall, physical attacker, and with filter, it can actually be a tank for once. Golem can be obtained sooner via the Pokéspots. The difference between Golem Shadow and regular is that the Shadow has Shell Smash and Circle Throw, while the regular can't. If you want to use Golem, I say get a Graveler and evolve it, that way it could have been used throughout the whole game. And with filter, Golem's actually worth considering for a team for once. Regice has lost a ton to speed and has gained some HP, as well as getting the Snow Warning ability. It starts with Shadow Giant, which becomes Explosion, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Trick Room, Shadow Chill, which becomes Icy Wind, and Shadow Freeze, which becomes Seismic Toss. For moves, it gets Charge Beam, Curse, Ancient Power, Ice Hammer, Hail, Aurora Veil, Blizzard, Zap Cannon, Rock Polish, Wide Guard, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Freeze Dry, Discharge, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Thunder, Surf, and Psychic, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Regirock is a wall leaning heavily towards the special side, as well as a special attacker, and has amazing support with Aurora Veil. Like Regirock, you can't go wrong with a legendary. Articuno is unchanged stat-wise, and now has the Snow Warning ability. It starts with Shadow Chill, which becomes Icy Wind, Shadow Madness, which becomes Skill Swap, Shadow Freeze, which becomes Hail, and Shadow Storm, which becomes Drill Peck. For moves, it gets Air Slash, Roost, Steel Wing, Aurora Veil, Blizzard, Brave Bird, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Surf, and Psychic. Articuno is a bulky mon with some great support and Aurora Veil and Tailwind. Put that aside, it's going to be able to hit pretty hard too. You can't go wrong with a legendary. Lantern has gained some defense and a lot of HP, as well as getting the Storm Drain and Lightning Rod abilities. It starts with Shadow Wave, which becomes Zap Cannon, Shadow Slayer, which becomes Tail Glow. As the gauge goes down, it gets Water Pulse and a Nuzzle. For moves, it gets Pain Split, Thunder Shock, Confuse Ray, Heal Bell, Charge Beam, Whirlpool, Shockwave, Recover, Hydro Pump, Wide Guard, Icy Wind, Taunt, Encore, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Blizzard, Thunder, both screens, and Surf. Lantern is a fat, bulky water type with two fantastic abilities. It is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Lantern Shadow and regular is Shadow gets Zap Cannon, Tail Glow, and Nuzzle, while the regular doesn't. I personally say if you wish to use Lantern, get it from the Pokespot, as it would have been significantly more helpful throughout the whole game than it would be now if you use the Shadow. Zapdos is unchanged stat-wise, and now has the static ability. It starts with Shadow Switch, which becomes Volt Switch, Shadow Bolt, which becomes Zap Cannon, Shadow Fear, which becomes Rain Dance, and Shadow Storm, which becomes Drill Peck. For moves, it gets Air Slash, Roost, Charge Beam, Steel Wing, Double Team, Hidden Power, Brave Bird, Thunder, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Heat Wave, and both screens. Zapdos is a very fast special attacker with mostly electric or flying moves, and it may have a shallow move pool, but it's going to hit like a truck with what it does have. Overall, Zapdos is a fantastic mon. Kingdra has got a buff to its HP, and that is all. It starts with Shadow Burst, which becomes Hydro Pump, Shadow Slayer, which becomes Nasty Plot. As the gauge goes down, it gets Aqua Jet and Agility. For moves, it gets Aqua Tail, Rain Dance, Dragon Dance, Water Pulse, Dragon Breath, Smoke Screen, Encore, Outrage, Liquidation, Draco Meteor, Icy Wind, Taunt, Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Waterfall, Knockoff, both screens, and Surf. Kingdra is a rather balanced mon, and its lower speed can easily be solved by slapping it on a rain team. Kingdra is available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Kingdra Shadow and regular is the Shadow gets Nasty Plot, Agility, and Aqua Jet, and the regular doesn't. If you want to use Kingdra, I say get a Horsey or a Seadra from the Pokespot, and Kingdra would have been helpful throughout the whole game. Tyranitar is unchanged from vanilla. It starts with Shadow Tantrum, which becomes Power Gem, Shadow Tease, which becomes Curse, Shadow Hunter, which becomes High Horsepower, Shadow Fear, which becomes Pursuit. For moves, it gets Crunch, Iron Tail, Rock Polish, Kick Impact, Bulldoze, Dragon Dance, Rock Blast, Payback, Dragon Tail, Rock Tomb, Hammer Arm, Outrage, Wide Guard, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Thunder, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knockoff, Stone Edge, and Dark Balls. Tyranitar is a bulky physical attacker and a premier mon for sand teams. Tyranitar is available sooner via Pokespots, well, sort of. Larvitar and Pupitar are available sooner via the Pokespot, but by the time they become Tyranitar, it would be about when you catch the Shadow anyway, so it's up to debate on that one. The difference between Tyranitar Shadow and regular is the Shadow gets 4 unique moves for once that the regular cannot get, so it's really a coin flip which one you want to use to catch the previous Evos and really struggle throughout the game, or just catch Tyranitar here, but either way, Tyranitar is a fantastic mon to use. Flygon has lost a lot of speed and some to both of its defenses, and has gained buffs to both attacks, as well as getting the Sand Veil and Sand Force abilities. It starts with Shadow Shake, which becomes Bulldoze, Shadow Agility, which becomes Dragon Dance, Shadow Speed, which becomes Extreme Speed, and Dragon Hammer. For moves, it gets Crunch, Roost, Fire Fang, Dragon Breath, Mud Shot, Sand Tube, Aqua Tail, Dragon Tail, Outrage, Earthquake, Draco Meteor, Wide Guard, Encore, Fire Punch, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Power Punch, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, X Scissor, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge. Flygon is a mixed attacker, leaning more towards the physical side, and absolutely wants to be on a sand team. Flygon is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Flygon Shadow and regular is the Shadow gets extreme speed and Dragon Hammer, while regular doesn't. If you want to use a Flygon, I say catch the previous Evos, as they would make a great team member throughout the whole game. Registeel has lost a ton of speed and has gained a bit of HP, as well as the Unaware ability. It starts with Shadow Giant, which becomes Circle Throw, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Explosion, Shadow Analysis, which becomes Metal Claw, and Shadow Sickness, which becomes Iron Defense. For moves, it gets Volt Switch, Curse, Seismic Toss, Discharge, Metal Sound, Brick Break, Lock On, Zap Cannon, Wide Guard, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Taunt, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Thunderbolt, Superpower, Earthquake, Earth Power, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Thunder, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, and Stone Edge, as well as Psychic. Registeel is a wall, and it may not be a focused one like the other two Regis, but it's arguably the best of the three just on typing alone. But Registeel lacks the offensive prowess of the other two Regis. That aside, Registeel is a pretty fantastic mon. Moltres is unchanged stat-wise and has the Flame Body ability. It starts with Shadow Blaze, which becomes Sacred Fire, Shadow Breeze, which becomes Lava Plume, Shadow Burn, which becomes Sunny Day, and Shadow Storm, which becomes Drill Peck. For moves, it gets Air Slash, Roost, Steel Wing, Hyper Voice, Brave Bird, Overheat, Solar Beam, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Hurricane, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Flame Charge, Knock Off, and both screens. Moltres is a special attacker with some pretty decent bulk, and like the other birds, it has a rather limited move pool, but what it does have, it's going to hit pretty hard. And just like the other two, it's a pretty solid mon to use. Executor has lost some speed and attack, and has gained small buffs to special defense and HP, as well as a single point to defense, as well as getting the Solar Power ability. It starts with Shadow Soul, which becomes Flamethrower, Shadow Slayer, which becomes Woodhammer, Shadow Madness, which becomes Curse, and a Bullet Seed. For moves, it gets Seed Bomb, Hypnosis, Psychic, Skill Swap, Leaf Storm, Synthesis, Solar Beam, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, Sunny Day, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, both screens, and Stone Edge, as well as Dark Pulse. Executor is a bulky special attacker who wants to be on a Sun team. It is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Executor Shadow and regular is Shadow gets Flamethrower, Curse, and Bullet Seed, while regular doesn't. Whichever one you use, it's going to be a struggle to use due to its bad typing, but if you want to use it, I guess get it from the Pokespot to see how it fares, but overall I wouldn't recommend it. Camerupt has lost a ton to speed and has gained some attack and a lot of special attack and HP, as well as getting the Sheer Force ability. It starts with Shadow Blaze, which becomes Lava Plume, Shadow Slayer, which becomes Rock Polish. As the gauge goes down, it gets Bulldoze and Smokescreen. For moves, it gets Fire Fang, Ancient Power, High Horsepower, Sunny Day, Earth Power, Flare Blitz, Eruption, Mud Shot, Heat Wave, Explosion, Wide Guard, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Flame Charge, and Stone Edge. Camerupt is a bulky mixed attacker, leaning towards the special side. Camerupt is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Camerupt Shadow and regular is Shadow gets Smokescreen and Rock Polish, and regular doesn't. If you're going to use Camera Up, just get it from the Pokespot, and it's going to be a great help throughout the whole game. I'm not going to be coy or mysterious about the supposed unpurifiable XG001. It can in fact be purified. All you gotta do is have the purified chamber set to max tempo in all sets. It would be rather silly for Game Freak to make forms of mons that you can't transfer to other games after all. I digress. Lugia has lost some speed and gained some special attack, and now has the multi-scale ability. It starts with Shadow Burst, which becomes Aeroblast, Shadow Sky, which becomes Psycho Boost, Shadow Madness, which becomes Roost, and Shadow Hunter, which becomes Calm Mind. For moves, it gets Air Slash, Dragon Tail, Skill Swap, Ancient Power, Rest, Hydro Pump, Hyper Beam, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Trick Room, Scald, Freeze Dry, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Waterfall, Poison Jab, Knock Off, both screens, Psychic, and Surf. Lugia is a very bulky wall with a very wide move pool, and is definitely going to be very helpful during the postgame. Salamence is unchanged stat-wise, and now can have the Intimidate or Aerialate abilities. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Dual Chop, Shadow Sky, which becomes Ice Fang, Shadow Blaze, which becomes Wish, and Shadow Fear, which becomes Hydro Pump. For moves, it gets Brick Break, Dragon Dance, Fire Fang, Crush Claw, Scary Face, Hyper Voice, Crunch, Body Slam, Headbutt, Hone Claws, Return, Air Slash, Dragon Tail, Facade, Outrage, Draco Meteor, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Power Up Punch, Flamethrower, Iron Heads, and Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Rock Slide, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knock Off, and Stone Edge. Salamence is, well, a menace. It's a very strong mixed attacker, leaning towards the physical side. It has a very wide move pool and two fantastic abilities. And, well, there are two of them you can get in the game. One from the Bagon from the beginning, and this late game one. The difference between them is the late game Salamence gets 4 unique moves, while the one that it gets from the Bagon doesn't. Regardless of the Salamence you use, it's going to be an absolute beast of a team member. Snorlax has got a buff to HP. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Play Rough, Shadow Max, which becomes Belly Drum. As the gauge goes down, it gets Body Slam and Hammer Arm. For moves, it gets Circle Throw, Bulldoze, High Horsepower, Rest, Headbutt, Curse, Double Edge, Explosion, Giga Impact. And like basically every other normal type in the game, it can learn pretty much every TM move that we have. Snorlax is a tank that will hit like an absolute truck as well. Snorlax is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Snorlax Shadow and regular is the Shadow gets Play Rough. If you wanted to use Snorlax, I say get it from the Pokespot, and it would have been an absolute beast throughout the whole game. Alakazam got a big boost to HP and attack, as well as getting the Magic Bounce and Trace abilities. It starts with Shadow Slayer, which becomes Ice Beam, Shadow Burst, which becomes Fake Out. As the gauge goes down, it gets Extra Sensory and Skill Swap. For moves, it gets Calm Mind, Feint, Hypnosis, Disable, Psybeam, Hidden Power, Helping Hand, Encore, Charge Beam, Trick, Taunt, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Energy Ball, Focus Blast, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, both screens, Psychic, and a Dark Pulse, as well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Alakazam is a very fast special attacker that got a rather useless buff to its physical attack. Alakazam is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Alakazam Shadow and regular is Shadow gets Ice Beam and Fake Out, and regular does not. Just get an Abra or a Kadabra from the Pokespot, and Alakazam could have been a destructive beast throughout the whole game. Tauros has lost a ton of defense and gained a ton of HP and special attack, as well as some physical attack. It has also gained the Sheer Force ability. It starts with Shadow Tantrum, which becomes Waterfall, Shadow Shake, which becomes Lunge, Shadow Rush, which becomes Mean Look, and Headbutt. For moves, it gets High Horsepower, Bulldoze, Iron Tail, Play Rough, Return, Dragon Tail, Extreme Speed, Double Edge, Mega Horn, Giga Impact, and Head Smash. And like other normal types, it can learn basically every TM. Tauros is a fast physical attacker with two fantastic abilities. Tauros is also available sooner via the Pokespots. The difference between Tauros Shadow and regular is the Shadow gets 4 unique moves. Frankly, just get Tauros from the Pokespot and it would have been a great help throughout the whole game. Before I end this bio, I have to point this out because it infuriated me finding this out. Tauros has been a villain of this playthrough and has caused many game overs because it somehow has outsped my team, which is bullshit because literally 80% of my team has higher speed stats according to all of the notes and buffs of all the mons that everybody has gotten. But pretty much every time I faced Tauros, it has been faster and has caused many headaches. And after looking at the stats for this bio, it has only served to infuriate me. Dragonite is unchanged stat-wise and now has the multi-scale ability. It starts with Shadow Hunter, which becomes Fake Out, Shadow Sky, which becomes Dragon Dance, Shadow Bolt, which becomes Wish, and Shadow Speed, which becomes Dragon Hammer. For moves, it gets Bulldoze, Giga Impact, Hyper Beam, Body Slam, Aerial Ace, Aqua Tail, Iron Tail, Roost, Dragon Tail, Extreme Speed, Outrage, Draco Meteor, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Icy Wind, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knockoff, Surf, and Stone Edge. Dragonite is a rather bulky mixed attacker, leaning more towards the physical side, and has a wide move pool and a great ability to help it tank. Dragonite is also available sooner via the Pokespots, or, well, kind of. Dratini and Dragonair are, but they wouldn't evolve up until now anyway, so it's really up to you which one you want to use. The difference between Dragonite Shadow and regular is Shadow gets Fake Out, Wish, and Dragon Hammer, while regular doesn't. Whichever Dragonite you choose to use, it's going to be quite a useful help during the postgame. Slacking has gotten buffs to everything but speed and attack, because Slacking of all Pokemon needed buffs, while some mons who actually needed them either got nothing or got something very small. I digress. Slacking starts with Shadow Shake, which becomes First Impression, Shadow Crush, which becomes Giga Impact. As the gauge goes down, it gets Belly Drum and Gunk Shot. For moves, it gets Crush Claw, Hammer Arm, Body Slam, Fake Out, Endeavor, Slack Off, Swords Dance, Bulk Up, Brick Break, Drain Punch, Double Edge, and Return. And like every other normal type, or most of them at least, it can basically learn every TM. Slacking is a monster, or at least it is 50% of the time. And honestly, I didn't know Slacking had such high speed despite its gimmick as being a super lazy fat mon. But okay, that's cool to know. Slacking is definitely going to be a great help during the postgame. Farfetch'd has gotten an Omni buff, as well as getting the Defiant and Sniper abilities. It starts with Shadow Fury, which becomes Dragon Dance. As the gauge goes down, it gets Brave Bird, Baton Pass, and First Impression. For moves, it gets Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, Acrobatics, Fake Out, Slash, Night Slash, Swords Dance, Agility, Double Edge, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Foul Play, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Sludge Bombs, and Headbutt, Superpower, Heat Wave, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, X Scissor, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and both screens. Farfetch'd is a fairly average mon with a pretty wide move pool. The main thing about Farfetch'd is its gimmick of being a level 1 Shadow Pokemon that can surprise sweep your team. Latias is unchanged from vanilla. It starts with Shadow Soul, which becomes Extrasensory, Shadow Sky, which becomes Recover, Shadow Slayer, which becomes Calm Mind, and Dragon Breath. For moves, it gets Wish, Hidden Power, Heal Bell, Double Team, both screens, Psychic, Draco Meteor, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Freeze Dry, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, and Surf. Latias is a very bulky mon with a high special attack and a lot of support moves, and overall it's a rather great mon. Entei is unchanged from vanilla and can now have the inner focus ability. Entei starts with Overheat, Rest, Crunch, and Sacred Fire. For moves, it gets Flare Bullets, Fire Fang, Extreme Speed, Swords Dance, Lava Plume, Wide Guard, Snarl, Taunt, Fire Blast, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. Entei is a rather bulky physical attacker with some great speed to boot. The main downside to Entei is it has a rather shallow move pool, but that aside, Entei is going to be very helpful during the challenges of Ori Coliseum or climbing Mount Battle. Raikou is unchanged from vanilla and can now have the inner focus ability. It starts with Nasty Plot, Aura Sphere, Rest, and Thunder. For moves, it gets Extra Sensory, Volt Switch, Charge Beam, Hidden Power, Calm Mind, Crunch, Encore, Snarl, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Shadow Ball, Knockoff, both screens, and Dark Balls. Raikou is a very fast special attacker with some great setup potential and survivability. Raikou is absolutely going to be quite helpful during Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Suicune is unchanged from vanilla and can now have the inner focus ability. It starts with Mirror Coat, Extra Sensory, Rest, and Hydro Pump. For moves, it gets Hail, Aurora Veil, Aurora Beam, Heal Bell, Calm Mind, Water Pulse, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, Snarl, Taunt, Tailwind, Hurricane, Ice Beam, Scald, Iron Head, Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Blizzard, Psy Shock, Waterfall, Knockoff, both screens, and Psychic. Suicune is a very fat, bulky water type with amazing survivability and support. You can't go wrong with having Tailwind or Aurora Veil. Suicune will absolutely be a phenomenal help during the Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Kyogre is unchanged from vanilla. It starts with Liquidation, Rest, Thunder, and Surf. For moves, it gets Water Pulse, Yawn, Ancient Power, Hydro Pump, Water Spout, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Freeze Dry, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Blizzard, Waterfall, and Psychic. Kyogre is a very fat, bulky water type that can tank pretty much anything and will hit back even harder with its high special attack. Kyogre is absolutely going to be phenomenal during Mount Battle climbs. Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, Groudon, and Rayquaza are banned from Ori Coliseum though. Groudon is unchanged from vanilla. It starts with Solar Beam, Rest, Overheat, and Earthquake. For moves, it gets Bulldoze, Bulk Up, Dragon Tail, Ancient Power, High Horsepower, Eruption, Wide Yard, Fire and Thunder Punch, Taunt, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Power Up Punch, Will-O-Wisp, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Focus Blast, Dragon Claw, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, and Stone Edge. Groudon is a bulky physical attacker who will be able to tank pretty much anything and hit back very hard with its physical attack. Groudon will be a phenomenal help during Mount Battle climbs. Unfortunately, Kyogre, and Rayquaza are banned from Ori Coliseum though. Rayquaza is unchanged from vanilla. It starts with Dragon Breath, Extreme Speed, Rest, and Dragon Ascent. For moves, it gets Air Slash, Swords Dance, Dragon Tail, Fire Fang, Hyper Beam, Outrage, V-Create, Draco Meteor, the Elemental Punches, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Zen Headbutt, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Superpower, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Gunk Shot, Shadow Ball, Rock Slide, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Thunder, Waterfall, Flame Charge, Poison Jab, Knockoff, both screens, Surf, and Stone Edge. Rayquaza is a mixed attacker with a pretty wide move pool. It's also the only Pokemon that can, in this hack, that could use V-Create. Rayquaza is going to be a phenomenal help during the Mount Battle climbs. Unfortunately, just like Kyogre and Groudon, it is banned from the Ori Coliseum though. Solak has lost some HP and a ton of attack, defense, and speed, and has gained a ton to special attack and special defense. It starts with Shadow Terrain, which becomes Power Gem, Shadow Blaze, which becomes Flamethrower, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Disable, and Shadow Analysis, which becomes Cosmic Power. For moves, it gets Morning Sun, Confusion, Rock Throw, Fire Spin, Extrasensory, Solar Beam, Explosion, Wide Guard, Encore, Fire Blast, U-Turn, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, Earth Power, Heat Wave, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Flame Charge, both screens, Stone Edge, and Psychic. Solrock has become more frail and special-oriented compared to original. Solrock has a fairly wide move pool, and it's going to be a decent-ish mon during Ori Coliseum challenges and Mount Battle climbs. Masquerain has gained a small amount to defense and speed. It starts with Shadow Storm, which becomes Air Slash, Shadow Fear, which becomes Glare. As the gauge goes down, it gets Silver Wind and Quiver Dance. For moves, it gets Infestation, Water Pulse, Scary Face, Roost, Rain Dance, Bubble Beam, Gust, Signal Beam, Bug Buzz, Encore, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Scald, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, both screens, Surf, and Psychic. As well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Masquerain is a special attacker with both one of the best abilities in the game in Intimidate, but also one of the best buffing moves in Quiver Dance. Masquerain will be fairly good during the Ori Coliseum challenges or the Mount Battle climbs. Levi has lost 2 points to attack and has gained a lot of special defense and speed, as well as getting the Compound Eyes and Solar Power abilities. It starts with Shadow Soul, which becomes Air Slash, Shadow Snooze, which becomes Hypnosis. As the gauge goes down, it gets Silver Wind and Quiver Dance. For moves, it gets Infestation, Gust, Stun Spore, Morning Sun, Giga Drain, Disable, Fairy Wind, Leech Seed, Bug Buzz, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, both screens, and Psychic. Beautyfly is a fast special attacker who has gotten two pretty solid abilities. And with Quiver Dance, it'll do some surprising damage. Beautyfly will be pretty okay during the Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Butterfree has lost some special attack and has gained a lot of special defense. It starts with Shadow Madness, which becomes Air Slash, Shadow Sickness, which becomes Toxic. As the gauge goes down, it gets Silver Wind and Quiver Dance. For moves, it gets Confusion, Hypnosis, Infestation, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Helping Hand, Psybeam, Bug Buzz, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, both screens, and Psychic. As well as a myriad of physical moves not worth mentioning. Butterfree is pretty much just geared towards support and spreading statuses more than anything. And because of that, it's gonna be rather okay-ish to rather mid in terms of helpfulness and the Ori Coliseum challenges and the Mount Battle climb. Lickitung has gained a lot to both attacks and HP, as well as getting the Unaware and Thick Fat abilities. It starts with Shadow Slobber, which becomes Power Whip, Shadow Boom, which becomes Belly Drum. As the gauge goes down, it gets Body Slam and a Leg. For moves, it gets Swagger, Slack Off, Dragon Tail, Pain Split, Double Edge, Screech, and Explosion. And just like a lot of other normal times, it can learn basically every TM. Lickitung is a fairly average mon with a high HP, and with an Eviolite, it's going to become a tank that's very tough to bring down, and with its tankiness and diverse move pool, it's going to be quite helpful during the Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Dracorig has gained buffs to everything but HP and defense, as well as getting the Rattled and Sap Sipper abilities. It starts with Shadow Madness, which becomes Aura Sphere. As the gauge goes down, it gets Psycho Boost, Nasty Plot, and Pain Split. For moves, it gets Charge Beam, High Horsepower, Bulldoze, Baby Doll Eyes, Psy Beam, Agility, Baton Pass, Extrasensory, Crunch, and Psychic Phase. And just like pretty much every other normal type, it can get pretty much every TM. Dracorig is a fairly average mon with two solid abilities and has a diverse move pool. This hack was made before Gen 9 came out, so unfortunately the Eviolite doesn't get to work for Dracorig. And Dracorig will be pretty good during Ori Coliseum challenges or the Mount Battle climbs. Latios is unchanged from vanilla. It starts with Shadow Soul, which becomes Extrasensory, Shadow Madness, which becomes Recover, Shadow Hunter, which becomes Cosmic Power, and Dragon Breath. For moves, it gets Hidden Power, both screens, Calm Mind, Zen Headbutt, Water Pulse, Dragon Dance, Psychic, Draco Meteor, Icy Wind, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Wild Charge, Flamethrower, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Discharge, Dragon Pulse, Saber Power, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Sucker Punch, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Thunder, Waterfall, Dragon Claw, Poison Jab, Knockoff, Stone Edge, Surf, and Psychic. Latios is a very fast special attacker with quite a wide move pool. Not really much to say about Latios, besides it's going to be phenomenal during Ori Coliseum challenges and Mount Battle climbs. Lunatone has lost some HP and both attacks and a ton of speed. In turn, has gained a lot to both defenses. It starts with Shadow Sky, which becomes Power Gem, Shadow Chill, which becomes Moon Blast, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Disable, and Shadow Analysis, which becomes Cosmic Power. For moves, it gets Moonlight, Confusion, Rock Throw, Hypnosis, Extrasensory, Ancient Power, Explosion, Wide Guard, Encore, Icy Wind, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Thunder Wave, Ice Beam, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Iron Head, Thunderbolt, Freeze Dry, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, Earth Power, Blizzard, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, both screens, Stone Edge, and Psychic. Lunatone is a decently bulky mon with a great special attack and a wide move pool, and is gonna do pretty good during the Ori Coliseum challenges and Mount Battle climbs. Deoxys defense form is unchanged from vanilla. It starts as Shadow Madness, which becomes Psycho Boost, Shadow Barrier, which becomes Disable, Shadow Throw, which becomes Circle Throw, and Shadow Switch, which becomes Volt Switch. For moves, it gets Nightshade, Extrasensory, Drain Punch, Extreme Speed, Feint, Skill Swap, Confuse Ray, Charge Beam, Cosmic Power, Recover, Hyper Beam, and pretty much every tutor move or TM. Deoxys defense form is, well, a wall that has a very wide move pool, but the only real negative I can say, if you could even call it that, is there is no way to get the other forms of Deoxys, but defense form will be quite helpful during Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Parasect has lost a lot of special attack and has gained some HP, attack, and defense. It starts with Shadow Analysis, which becomes Hammer Arm, Shadow Snooze, which becomes First Impression. As the gauge goes down, it gets Wood Hammer and Spore. For moves, it gets Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Fury Cutter, Leech Life, Cross Poison, Infestation, Slash, Seed Bomb, Wide Guard, Taunt, Thunder Wave, U-Turn, Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and both screens. As well as a myriad of special moves not worth mentioning. Parasect has some decent bulk and high physical attack, and even some utility in having Spore. It's gonna be rather okay-ish to mid with helping in the Ori Coliseums or Mount Battle climbs though. Wobbuffet has got a huge buff to HP. It starts with Shadow Chant, which becomes Nightshade, Shadow Sickness, which becomes Mirror Coat, Shadow Terrain, which becomes Counter, and Shadow Sky, which becomes Destiny Bond. For moves, it gets Taunt, Thunder Wave, Toxic in both screens. Wobbuffet's whole gimmick is being a punching bag, and throwing whatever hit it back twofold. And while Wobbuffets are generally super annoying to deal with, actually using it in the Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs is another story. It's going to be a massive pain unless you can somehow consistently predict what the AI will do. Even with it now actually having an attack in Nightshade, it's still going to be a pain to try using yourself. Wigglytuff has got a small buff to attack and bigger ones to defense and HP, as well as getting the Pure Heart and competitive abilities. It starts with Shadow Scream, which becomes Moon Blast, Shadow Chant, which becomes Cotton Guard. As the gauge goes down, it gets Boom Burst and Recover. And for moves, it gets Body Slam, Belly Drum, Charge Beam, Hyper Voice, Nasty Plot, Moonlight, Counter, Mirror Coat, and just like other normal types, it gets basically every TM. Wigglytuff is a very bulky mon with a very wide move pool, and it's gonna do pretty good during Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Dunsparce has lost some speed and has gained some attack and defense, and can now have the Rattled ability. It starts with Shadow Colors, which becomes Coil. As the gauge goes down, it gets Headbutt, Helping Hand, and Glare. For moves, it gets Infestation, Yawn, Body Slam, Roost, Drill Run, and like most normal types, it gets basically every TM. Dunsparce is a fairly average mon with great HP, however this hack was made before Gen 9, so the Eviolite won't work, and with it being just average, it's gonna be just okay during the Ori Coliseum challenges or the Mount Battle climbs. The final Shadow Pokemon, Shadow Pokemon 122, is none other than Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is unchanged from Vanilla and can now have the Regenerator ability. It starts with Shadow Tribute, which becomes Sacred Fire, Shadow Colors, which becomes Tri-Attack. As the gauge goes down, it gets Brave Bird and Aurora Beam. For moves, it gets Drill Peck, Ancient Power, Swords Dance of all things, Overheat, Will-O-Wisp, Flare Blitz, Giga Impact, Encore, Taunt, Tailwind, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Thunder Wave, Flamethrower, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, Heat Wave, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Flame Charge, Knock Off both screens, and Psychic. Ho-Oh is just simply fantastic. It has a high bulk, has high attacks, it's a fantastic ability, great move pool. Ho-Oh was absolutely such a great final Shadow Pokemon, and will be phenomenal during the Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Mew is our first Mount Battle reward. Its starting moves kind of vary. For moves, it gets Recover, Extrasensory, Headbutt, Skill Spot, Baton Pass, Ancient Power, Assist, Endeavor, Calm Mind, Aura Sphere, Shadow Sneak, Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, and Psychic, as well as every tutor move and every TM. What's there to really say about Mew? It can serve any role you need it to, it can use any move, and it's going to be fantastic no matter how you use it. And it's absolutely going to be helpful during the Ori Coliseum challenges or Mount Battle climbs. Celebi is the second Mount Battle reward. It is unchanged stat-wise, and now has the Pure Heart ability. Its starting moves varies. For moves, it gets Leech Seed, Extrasensory, Recover, Heal Bell, Seed Bomb, Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, Leaf Storm, Wish, Skill Swap, Wide Guard, Encore, Taunt, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Power Up Punch, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Iron Head, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Zen Headbutt, Earth Power, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, X-Scissor, Aerial Ace, Poison Jab, Knock Off both screens, and Psychic. Celebi has the stats to fit any role and a pretty good move pool, and with the Pure Heart ability, which honestly I still have no idea if it just only lowers the damage of the Shadow moves, or if it lowers the moves of Dark and Ghost type moves as well. Even at the very end of this series, it's still, I can never get a clear answer to that. If it's the former, Celebi's not going to be helpful due to Shadow Pokemon aren't a problem anymore, and it has one of the worst type combinations. But if it's the latter, then it's going to be extremely helpful, and is going to be great during the Ori Coliseum challenges or the Mount Battle climbs. Jirachi, the final Mount Battle reward, and also the final obtainable Pokemon. Jirachi is unchanged from Vanilla. It has varying starting moves. For moves, it gets Wish, Body Slam, Metal Sound, Heart Stamp, Helping Hand, Extrasensory, Cosmic Power, Headbutt, Iron Head, Drain Punch, Zen Headbutt, Doom Desire, Wide Guard, Encore, the Elemental Punches, Icy Wind, Taunt, U-Turn, Dazzling Gleam, Power Punch, Thunder Wave, Wild Charge, Trick Room, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, Psyshock, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, Thunder, Knock Off both screens, Stone Edge, and Psychic. Jirachi has the stats to fulfill any role, and with a diverse move pool and quite a lot of devious choices with that Serene Grace, Jirachi is just phenomenal, and will perform so during Ori Coliseum challenges or the Mount Battle climbs. Well boy, that was quite a lot, and it took a long time to make. I sincerely hope you enjoyed all of this information and it was helpful. I also hope that you enjoy future projects I have lined up. And if you enjoyed yourself, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And remember to stay fabulous.